Alrighty, guys, jerseys, they go live 6 p.m. tonight on www.bloke.shop, and they're $99. We're keeping the price low, guys, to make sure you can get them. Let's go big this week. Let's go big for Magic Round. Get your Bloke jerseys. They will arrive before Magic Round. Let's get into it.
Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to an episode of Bloke in a Bar, and it is here. The Bloke jersey drop, 6 p.m. tonight. Let's go big. Let's dominate Magic Round with the Bloke jerseys. Be there. Set your alarm, guys, because they're going to go quick. It's the most limited drop we've ever done, and we'll never do this design again. And it's the first time we've ever done this design, so make sure to be there. And don't forget, quick shout-out, NordVPN Defense Player of the Week. It is back. Make sure to stay tuned for that. Also, between 11 and 1 o'clock, the Bloke live show will be at Caxton Hotel, and we will be with NRL Roast. He'll be doing the Hottest 100 as well, so it's going to be a really cool live show. Make sure to get down to the Caxton for the yearly meet and greet. It's our way to say thank you for all the support. So that is between 11 and 1 at the Caxton. Be there because the great Tommy Bomb, he'll be there as well. His debut.
Yeah, Magic Round debut. Yeah,
Magic Round debut.
Thank you, boys. Thank you.
Also, meet and greet debut.
Yes, yeah, meet and greet debut. So I'm excited, and good to be here on game day for the jerseys as well. Do you know if for the Hottest 100 is it just players?
Listen, I'll have to speak to Roasty.
Yeah,
I'll have a word to Roasty.
Yeah, have a word.
That's good. I was just about to ask the same question, so it'd be really good to get some clarity on that.
Just get some clarity
ahead of the meet and greet.
Just what can we do leading in?
Well, you've got to have a speech prepared. Just think,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We could even speak together if it isn't just players.
Yeah.
Oh, you think a dual premiership? You do.
Yeah, a bit of Romy and Cleary sort of thing. Imagine me and Hammy.
Yep. And then we're going to take a bit of cash in PNG. So enjoy it while I can.
Oh, okay. So that's Caxton Hotel, guys. Caxton Hotel. Sorry. Yeah. Between 11 and 1. Be there. Live show. Jerseys drop tonight. Be there. All right. Let's face a bit of music. Brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet. Give us a follow on the feed. Geez, I'm getting close. I'm getting very close to a big one. I'm very close. I can feel it. So get around me on the feed. Get around Hammy on the feed.
Get around me. A great time to get around me. Finny Filiaki anytime. You're welcome, people.
Thanks for coming.
$3.20. Thanks for coming over the weekend.
And also, Hammy is going to the Soccer World Cup.
I am. Yoga Benito.
Well done, man.
Thank you, guys. Couldn't have done without you.
Stay tuned.
Third campaign. Looking forward to that. That'll be very exciting in a couple of weeks' time. Not as exciting, though. Actually, probably a bit more exciting. But also, we're filming some Origin content.
Ooh,
you and
yes,
I
we
on
are.
Friday.
Yes.
Stacked cast. Sammy Thaiday, Cooper Johns,
Ooh.
Denon Day-Lewis. The range on this bloke in some of these skits,
Mate,
very
seriously.
exciting.
Seriously.
It's a great concept this year. I don't want to give too much away.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be one of our better
Not a
Origin
dry eye
pieces.
in the house.
All right, let's get into Face the Music. Big week this week. I know you tried to wiggle out of it last week because you're still coming last, or you were at that point.
Uh-oh.
I've done the maths, I've crunched the numbers, and I've got it up to speed for the end of round number 8. So we had Origin on Women's Origin on Thursday night. New South Wales 11 defeat Queensland 6. Maddie and Rue both had New South Wales head-to-head for $1.30. None of us had the player of the match, unfortunately. So $1.30 for those boys in that first game. Into round number 8, the Dogs 12 were defeated by the Cowboys 28. Only the sharpest minds in rugby league had the Dogs missing the 8 at the start of the season.
Oh, my God.
One person in particular laughed at me when I predicted that, but looking pretty good 8 rounds in.
Okay, so it sounds like an early crow to me.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to crow because they are stinking it up. Another loss for the
That might be
Doggies.
the Tigers' performance on the weekend that you're smelling.
We'll get to that. But
Can't win the comp.
yeah, might also be the Broncos' performance of the weekend.
Hey, we didn't have 50-50 one of us.
Anyway, Matty and myself had the Cowboys head-to-head for $2.12. Dolphins 28 defeat the Storm 10. You blokes trying to get a bit too cute.
No.
Bit of Dolphins 1 to 12 stuff.
Fucking right at the end.
I took a -3.5. Bang on the board. That's how you do
When
it.
they scored that last try, I was like, oh my God, bro.
That's how you do it.
Pistols out. Beautiful.
Yeah. You taking some notes on this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Good. Soak it up, baby. All right, the Titans, 12, defeated by the Raiders, 28. Kempy, the only member of the panel to successfully pick the winner of the William Zillman Cup. Congratulations to you. Raiders, $1.93.
Thanks for coming.
Well played, Kempy. The next game was an absolute fill-up for the panel. Eels, 14, defeated by the Wires, 36. We all knew a pumping was afoot with this one. I took the Wires -6.5. You guys had them all 13 plus for $2.50. Well played.
Thanks for coming.
The Warriors playing some serious footy at the moment.
Yes.
All right, Shooks 38, defeat Broncos 24. Embarrassing performance for the Broncos. Embarrassing stuff. Matty and Kempy both had the Broncos +4.5. I took them head-to-head, and Roo had them 1-12, so no points for anybody
nice
there.
boys, good work.
Everyone very hot on the Broncos.
Robbed.
A very exciting game. We had to Super Sunday. We had 3 games on Sunday as well. The Knights 42 defeat Souths 38. Bit of an upset here. Roo picked it like a dirty nose, though. He had the Knights 1-12 for $3.30.
Oh, my God.
Brave.
Bro.
We'll whiz through this next game. Sharks 52 defeat Tigers 10. I had Tigers 13 plus, just missed it. The rest of you cowards had Sharks head-to-head. Well, enjoy your $1.52.
Thanks for coming, baby. Just
Yep.
build them up. Just stack them up.
Well played. Last game of the round, the Panthers 18 defeat Manly 16. Roo took Manly plus 12.5. Tick, the rest of us had Penrith minus 12.5. Wrong. So, round 8 results. Roo,
What did I have? I thought I had Manly like 13 plus or something.
you did have Manly 13 plus.
Yeah.
But all of the serious
Wow.
contenders this year had the
I like
Panthers minus 12.5.
I was going for a big swing at the
No,
end
I
there.
like it.
Yeah.
Swing it.
He often does, and that's been reflected in his results this year.
Current reigning champion, by the way.
Yeah.
Also, current cheated last year.
Living in the past. I won the Eliminator last year. Won the Eliminator. All right, round 8 results. Roo, $10.52. Matty, $7.44. Denon, $5.95. Myself, $5.92. Throw a blanket over him.
Oh, my God. What a win.
Keep the cheering up. Keep the
Thank
cheering up
you.
because we go to the overall results now. Roo, 87.46. Myself, entrenched in the top 2, 77 and 8 cents. Matty, 64.55. Kempy, it took him till round 8, but he's finally caught Timmy, $47.49.
Well done, man. Fantastic.
It's only taken him a month. And Timmy, $45.72.
There you go. That's Basic Music. Who came last this week?
That was me this week.
Yeah, okay.
By 3 cents. You
Only
beat me
good
by
as your
3
last game.
cents.
Only good as your last game.
Yep. Which Broncos lost?
That's Basic Music, brought to you by Sportsbet. Give us a follow on the feed. Now it's time for the story of the week, brought to you by Code Sports, codesports.com.au/bloke. Use the code, get your discount. What's the story this week, mate?
We're looking at player clauses, right, guys? So obviously last week, Jerome Luai signing. We've got news that Jareem Buller has extended with the club and taken out that mutual option clause that he had for next year. So now what Code Sports has done is they've dove in and we figured out kind of all the hidden player clauses in contracts from now until, I guess, up till about 2032, I think the last one goes to with, I think, Dylan Brown. But there's a whole bunch of clauses. And I guess the reason we've had to do this is because these clauses are no longer accessible to the public. They used to be published on the NRL website, but as part of the CBA, the arrangement was to, I guess, put those behind closed doors. So, for instance, if you looked at Jerome Luai's contract on the NRL website up until 2 weeks ago, it would have said he was only signed until 2026, despite having all these options.
Oh, so that's how you tell. Is that how you tell who's got a
Yeah,
clause or not?
for clauses or not. But we've had to do a bit of research, and we found some pretty interesting ones that all kind of come into place, not only next year but also down the line. So, for instance, a lot has been said about the Bulldogs and their halves combination. A lot of people have wanted Sean O'Sullivan to, I guess, get a crack in their halves. Sean O'Sullivan actually has a mutual option for next year. So mutual options, a lot of people, I was having a conversation with a lot of people recently about them, and there's a bit of confusion, but a mutual option is pretty much where if a player takes it up, it will be one price, and then if the club takes it up, it's a different price. Usually the player's price will be a bit lower than what the club's price is. We had Jareem Buller, obviously the Eels have Jack DeBellin. But more interestingly, there's 2 guys that I really want to highlight that have mutual options, which I guess options which will come into maybe a bit of fears for some of these clubs. Jerome Hughes has an option at the Storm. So Jerome Hughes in 2030 has a mutual option, which means he could get out and go play for another club. We're obviously seeing what the Storm's doing at the moment, and they're not going great. So he could look to get out, but also when things are good, Dylan Brown at the Knights. Dylan Brown does have an option in his contract as well, which could mean in 2034 and 2035, he could get out of the last 2 years of his contract at Newcastle. But also
Still locked in for 2 Olympiads there.
That's amazing.
They're going to start preparing for the next salary cap.
Hey, well, you know what? We thought Jerome Luai's ones were far down the line, and they snuck up real quickly. But Perth Bears, guys, this is the real concerning thing for Perth. There's already a lot of issues going on at Perth. Liam Henry, Josh Curran, and Tyron Wishart, probably 3 of their higher name signings, all have options in their contract. So both Liam Henry and Josh Curran can get out in 2029, which I know seems far away, but from next year, that's only 2 years in the team. And Tyron Wishart in 2031. So there are still a lot of hidden clauses in these contracts, and I guess clauses aren't going away anytime soon. And with Papua New Guinea lurking around and other clubs coming into the competition, they're only going to get bigger and bigger.
Geez, Perth having 3 of those and like some key players like that have signed is just, boys. What are your thoughts on Perth? Where are you at? Because I'm very I was already worried.
Yeah.
Now I'm super worried.
Before Jerome signed with the Chiefs, I was a bit like, they'll be okay. But now we've had a big dog go to PNG. I think we're going to see a couple more head that way. And any players of serious quality, I feel like they'd probably be more inclined to take the bigger paycheck that they're going to get at Papua New Guinea. It seems, the more you think about it, pretty unfair on Perth coming in, as a new team, trying to start from scratch. Yes, I know they're still within Australia, but like the flight's about the same to Papua New Guinea as it is to Perth. Like to attract players over there is going to be really tough. They've struggled to do it so far. I think they're in a little bit of a spot of bother. Next year, they're in the comp next year.
Crazy.
I reckon like the money thing's one thing, but the Luai thing's also changed the appeal. Like, I think prior to Luai, everyone was sort of like, oh, it's good money and, good opportunity on that front. But now that he's there, I think even from a footy point of view, like Papua New Guinea's becoming more and more appealing. Like Perth is such a hard sell now. I think, I don't know if they haven't given concessions to him because they thought, they've already got like a little bit of an existing fan base at Norths or whatever, but it just seems a little bit like poorly thought out, like to not consider the fact that you're going to give all these concessions and really, I get why they're doing it in PNG in terms of pushing it so hard, but like they've sort of just been hung out to dry.
What is your word with Perth? Like what are they saying to everyone that's saying we're worried about Perth?
Well, Perth's an interesting one because you speak to certain people at Perth. I mentioned it a couple of times. My conversation with Mal Meninga, I did a story a year out when the competition started. He's just saying that they're going to have a team that's going to be competitive. He told me that they'd already signed their marquee players, right? I think we've all been expecting another player to come, like their equivalent of a Jerome Luai, which I just don't think we've had yet. I think that's a unanimous vote, but there's not a Jerome Luai yet, right?
No way.
So the word coming out of Perth is we're going to get good people. We're going to have a good system. People are going to want to play for Mal Meninga, and we're going to be a strong club. But now the biggest issue is I think they've got 18 players signed, 18 first graders signed. They don't have a 9. They don't. Tyron Wishart's been brought there to play in the halves, so they don't have a 9 right now. And they don't have like who else is. They would have to sign their marquee, and there's not really any on the market right now between now and November 1 to avoid competing with Papua New Guinea. So Papua New Guinea got Jerome Luai because the Tigers waived their cooling off period, but now there's no other players that are in situations like Jerome. You've heard clubs like Penrith. Penrith also one of the teams that don't have any clauses in any contracts, right?
Of course, yeah.
Penrith, mate, your Roosters and the Gold Coast Titans, no clauses in contracts.
No clauses and no salary caps. That's very tough to compete.
Us in the chase, it's beautiful. But like, what is your sell to a marquee player at Perth? Like, you saw what they did with Luai, and Luai spoke to it. Like, we've all spoken. Everyone knows about the money side, but he sort of a lot of a connection between where his heritage in Samoa and the Papua New Guinean people. So there's something you can sell there, and the idea of being part of a legacy and building it, like.
Well, they tried to sell a similar thing. They tried to sell you're going to be an inaugural player of this team. Build a team in Perth. You're going to play for Mal Meninga. They're things that they tried to sell. It just hasn't had the same effect. And like you said, like we've said before, players attract other players to come. Now, I think they've got good players. Like Tyron Wishart's a good player. Nick Meaney's a good player. Toby Sexton on his day is a good player. But do they have the influence to bring other people over? I can tell you right now, since the Jerome Luai signing Tuesday night, I think we announced it, we broke the story. I've already had conversations with agents, with players, that they're keen to go over there. We've had Isaiah Yeo come out and say he's interested in looking over there. Like all of a sudden, it's gone from, hey, this is a good tax-free bracket. We're going to get some middle-of-the-range players over to PNG that are looking for a last big payday, to players that go, I can get money. I can also be a part of something a bit bigger than that, and there's going to be good players around me that can surround a good system, and we can build something a bit bigger.
Well, like with Jerome going there, you could be part of something truly historic in sport in the Oceania. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not just Australia and the whole of the Oceania. So, yeah, I just worry for Perth. I just don't know where they go from here. I don't look. Two things. I can't believe there are people complaining about the tax-free dollars that the PNG are getting, because it's like all the clubs took the money from the government when that all came. So each club got $4 million.
Yeah,
correct?
each club got $4 million, but they all had to. This is the thing. It's not like they were forced. They all agreed to
Yeah.
it. It was a conversation. It was a negotiation. But the biggest thing that's changed since then is they now have a player,
Yeah.
and they don't just have any player. They've got one of the more attractive players in the competition.
Yeah, so I can't believe they're now complaining when it's not everyone. It's just a few clubs or whatever. But I will say, so there's that, and you agreed, you took the money, but I do think they got to change something with Perth. I think they've got to say to Perth, you get like 1 or 2 marquee signings outside the cap or something like that, because otherwise, like right now, they still have to get minimum 12 more players to there just to fill the top 30 squad.
Yeah, they have to. So there's a couple of requirements they need. I can't remember the exact number. They have to have a certain amount of players by a certain date. I think, which will be in. It might have happened in April, but in May, and then they have to have their 30 by January, I think, of next year.
But geez, you'd want it before that.
No, 100% you want it. But the thing is as well, right, when we talk about getting players outside of the cap, the club still needs to have that money. Perth is like their head office and the team that's actually working in Perth at the moment is very small. It's not like they're running with all these resources and things like that. They're running with a very, very small team at the moment.
And the NRL has the license too, don't they?
Yeah, yeah,
So the NRL would have to fork it up.
But the thing is as well, they're like, we can say, hey, they should get a marquee player. We're probably a bit too late now into trying to help them, because like who is there to sign right now? They'd have to try and probably
someone out of a club.
and suffer for the next year or two, and then get someone a couple years down the track. But I actually really like that idea. There was a story that came out that I think they should have an extra figure that comes in, like an extra monetary figure. But your idea of a 2 marquee signing outside the cap, like, it won't change everything for them, but it just makes them more of an attractive
Well, you
club.
just get you'll get 1 or 2 high-profile players that go, fuck yeah, like I'll take 1.5 when I would have got 900 somewhere else or something like that. Man, it's a tough one. Alrighty, that is the Code Sports story of the week. Go to codesports.com.au. Check out the clauses article, but also I think just recently an article dropped with the CEO of Perth Bears responding to all that stuff. So go to codesports.com.au. And Tyson the Terminator 69, give him a follow on Instagram.
Thanks, boys.
Alrighty, it's time for the Team of the Week, brought to you by Bloke Jersey, dropping tonight at 6 p.m. Limited edition, be there. Okay, at 1, Tedesco. At 2, To'o. 3, Bostock. 4, Timoko. 5, Mazu. 6, Trindle. 7, Sanders. 8, Tamalolo. 9, Marnie. 10, Mooney. 11, Sasangi the Goat. 12, Wilton. 13, Clark. 14, Nathan Cleary. 15, Jackson Ford. 16, White. And 17, Nat Butcher. That is the team of the week. Anyone there you like, mate?
I am so high on Aaron Clark at the moment. I can't even, I'm sure we'll get into it when we get to that game, but he's just, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So well-rounded too. So well-rounded at the moment.
I just want to just drop something in. Ford, no Dally M points.
Right.
Let me just,
Unbelievable.
Why did they just give all 15 of them to Aaron Clark or something?
Aaron Clark did get the most, but yeah, nah.
That's absurd.
let me just wait a sec. I need to just confirm his stats.
Aaron Clark 3, Roger 3, Boyd 3, Volkman 2, Dallin 1.
So Jackson Ford, he had a try, 18 runs, 177 metres, 71 post contact, 2 tackle breaks, a line break, 2 offloads, 50 tackles, 1 miss.
Yep.
No errors, and he played 71 minutes in the middle.
Not quite up to scratch, unfortunately, for a vote.
Yeah, it's just not good enough. And also, when he that try he scored, that was to actually extend the lead out from 1 score after the Eels had fought back into it. So it was an important try
Yeah.
off Clark.
Like, I know you shouldn't go off fantasy points, but he has 90 fantasy points. Like,
Yeah.
which would be about a bazillion super coach.
I just don't understand who they've given him to instead. Like, Clark would have got heaps, no doubt.
Clark got 3, Roger got 3, Tanner Boyd got 3, Ronald Volkman got 2, and Dallin got 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're doing that again, are we? All right. Cowboys defeat the Bulldogs 28-12. And yeah, just when you think I thought the Bulldogs were going to turn things around, they haven't. They look, exactly the way they've looked for quite a while now. But I got to say, the big story for me coming out of this is the Cowboys' defense. I thought that was the real story of the match, and now they're sitting, I think top 6, maybe top 4 even. but they've won like 6 of the last 7 matches.
6-7.
6.
Yeah, 6-7. So they're coming 6th. And they haven't had their bye yet too. So they'd probably be in the top 4 right now if they had their bye.
Yes, they would.
And so, like, that is just outstanding from the Cowboys. What a turnaround from Peyton. The Dogs, it almost goes from worse to worse. What do you reckon, mate?
I actually think with the Dogs, like watching the first 20 minutes of the game, I thought their attack looked a lot better. But like you said, like they've sort of built a brand the last couple of seasons on this defense. And, you know, I think they'd be pretty disappointed with a few of the tries they let in, like specifically when Drinky went front door off Marnie to score his first try. That was something that you wouldn't think the Dogs would let in, like just pretty much straight through the middle on the goal line. And then the game was sort of done at this point. But when Burns went short side, close to the line from dummy half and scored, like that's just something that I think Serraldo would be absolutely steaming. Like, he might break another window at this point, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Allegedly, of course.
yeah, allegedly, hell,
Yeah.
of course.
Just slide it. He just slowed it.
Yeah, it was an accident. But
Yeah, no cameras there.
yeah,
Weird.
release the Serraldo for
Yeah,
us.
you never
But-
have a camera on a coach. Football venue.
But yeah, I just think like I thought their attack was looking better in the first 20, but it's almost like they get inside good ball, like, you know, when they're attacking the line, and it just gets all stagnant again. But I thought Galvin was still pretty good. Like, I thought he kicked pretty well. I thought, you know, took the line on well, but yeah, they just can't bring it together. You know, for so long their defense was so good and like rock solid, and that was the one thing where even the attack was noticeably bad. It was like at least the defense is just unbelievable, but yeah, the defense sort of cost them, didn't it?
What do you reckon, Amy?
Yeah, the Doggies just generally, it seems like, because the defense was so good for so long, everyone's like, that's all you got. All you've got is defense. So it seems like they've tried to spend, well, they have spent a lot of time tinkering with their attack and the makeup of their team, and that's still not gelling. But in doing that, they've kind of left the defense by the wayside. Now they're conceding a stack of points and they're not scoring them. It's just a bad place they've kind of found. I mean, they obviously had that great win against the Panthers a few weeks ago. It's a shame for them. They haven't been able to bottle that up and kind of take that into other games. But yeah, the fact that now their attack is like so clunky, and now their defenses seem to have eluded them, like they're in a really bad spot. I'm with you. I thought Galvin started well. He took the line on early, scored that try at the start. I thought, here we go. He's got his tail up here. Maybe we'll see him, you know, produce a bit of a performance like he had against the Panthers. But unfortunately, it just feels like he's got a bit too much on his shoulders. Like, his best stuff, as we all know, is running the footy and playing the eyes up stuff. But adding the game management on top of that, I just feel like it's just a little bit too much for him. We've been calling for it for a few weeks, but I reckon they need to make that change there and get O'Sullivan in there to help him out a little bit. But a tough one for the Doggies, and yeah, their 4th loss in the last 5.
Ooh, tough. Hey, Matty, do you have a mic or not? Yep. What are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, just another misfire. Their attack just misfired again, and they're just sliding, aren't they? Like you said, 4 of the last 5. That one win was probably the greatest upset of the season against the Panthers. But the loss to the Eels and now this, the Broncos won last week. It's just, it seems to be getting worse each week. And yeah, like it did seem like there was a simple answer at the start of the year. Like, is Galvin a halfback? I'm not sure, but I've got more questions than answers now. It's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, it's strange because, like, you know, we can focus on the spine, and I do believe it's right to focus on the spine. But at the end of the day, their defense is terrible.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you're not going to do anything until you get defense sorted. And I know defense and attack are kind of linked, and like when you can score points, it gives you confidence to be able to kind of defend at times. But the problem is now it's actually the defense needs to fix itself before we even consider, you know, their concerns about their attacking footy in the 20 and all that stuff. So
that last 15 was it was horrendous. It was defense we haven't seen from the Bulldogs since before Serraldo.
Since they're buying round 3, they're averaging 30 points conceded a game, which is just so far apart from where they were last year, where they were the best defensive team in the comp.
Yeah, but even like, say, the defense, obviously, yeah, like it's been poor, but some of the errors where they just shoot themselves in the foot. Like Leo Thompson, he dropped the ball 3 times, which is, you know, like,
oh, mate.
Like, you can't be doing that. But at the same time, like, everyone talks about Galvin not being a 7 and this and that. They had 3 repeat sets that they got right. And I think 2 of them were Galvin, 1 of them was Birdo. They only got the ball back once out of the 3. The other 2 short dropouts, they lost the ball.
You're like,
so
why are they rolling it in? It's not worth it.
like, fucking, if you can't win the ball back, what a waste of time. Like, it's just frustrating. And
do you reckon Serraldo's telling them to do that? Because I just think, like, when I watch Galvin attack the line sometimes, and even Burton, and I think Galvin's being hung out to dry here. Like, I think he's been put in a position and too much weight has been put on his shoulders as a 20-year-old. But I think that, like, sometimes what happens with Burton and Galvin, they get into 20, they have no answers, so they just take the easy option and they just roll it in and go, all right, my job's done. But it's like, in today's day and age, rolling it in, unless you're going to score off it, it's really not worth it. You'd be better off having a shot at them and tackling them or getting tackled in the corner. But
Yeah.
the Dogs used to do that with Zeri on the left.
But then, I think there's two ways you can go about it. You could change the fact that you're rolling in, but the fact of the matter is, if you are getting repeat sets, most teams don't lose that many. Like we know in the modern game, last few seasons you've seen with short dropouts, like it's more of a gamble than it was. So say 5 years ago, you get a repeat set, it's a fill up, like you're going to get the ball back unless there's like 5 to go and the other team's chasing points. But now, like they lose so many short dropouts. Like it shouldn't just be I'm watching them live going, fuck, well, they're probably going to lose the ball. It shouldn't be like that. So I think, they need to do specific work to make sure that you're not doing that. Or, you need to change what you're doing. Like, they do still have decent aerial targets. Like, Crichton's good in the air. When Viliami's there, he's actually pretty good in the air too. Preston goes okay in the air. So maybe they need to change their last tackle options. Because, that's 2 or 3 sets where they should be getting another go at the Cowboys' defence and just gave it away completely.
Yeah, and some of the sets, you're like, they'll be in good ball, and they're like literally just doing 1-out hit-ups for 4 tackles and then rolling it in. And you're just like, have a shot at them. And as I said, I don't know if you guys agree, but I personally think Galvin's been hung out to dry, not intentionally, but I just think that we're talking about a 20-year-old that is a 6, out-and-out 6. I think everyone could see that. And he's been forced to be the talking point of a team that's defense not good. And then he's got, forwards dropping balls in crucial moments. And so I actually think the Galvin situation, when they were this close to being a premiership threat, the Galvin chat was kind of relevant because you're like, he could be that next step. But I actually think the Galvin chat's become irrelevant because there's so many other things they need to sort out before they even get close to that level of footy again.
Absolutely. Well, they just tinkered with too many things. They were this close and they changed 4 or 5 really important things. Some key members of the spine who had got them to the top of the ladder. They changed all that. So I said at the time I thought it was too extreme too quickly. But I'm with you, Kempy. I reckon, it's not all on him. And he's had some nice moments, but I think they're just asking him to do a little bit too much at the moment. I think a game manager would really help him out a little bit. Let that person kind of get people to the right spots, kick to the corners, all that sort of stuff, and then let him rip a little bit more and do the stuff that he's really good at. I think there's just been a little bit too much placed on his shoulders.
You want to hear something crazy? And this is a stat that was, I think, last week. It may not have changed. Between their spine, so they're 9, 6, 7, and fullback, how many try assists you reckon they've had this year?
Oh, okay. I feel like it's going to be low.
I don't want to undersell them, but I was
give me what you actually think, not low.
All right, so we're round 8 at the moment?
We're around 9.
Round 9. You'd probably say like 15?
Yeah, I was going to say around the 15 mark, maybe a bit lower because they've had a few games where they've been pizzled.
It feels like it's going to be low. They didn't score many tries at the start of the year, so I'm going to say 12.
4.
4?
Far
That's one
out.
each.
So that's one every 2 games.
And so just recheck that. But
I'll go through it now.
That's across the entire spine.
The spine. And so like that is no way you try and sugarcoat that. That's just that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, especially with guys as talented as Burton and Galvin.
Yeah, that's half a try assist around.
But just on that too, I in my mind have at least twice where 2 of those would be Galvin playing short to Preston.
Yep.
And teams are starting to do a way better job on that combination.
Yes.
Like even last night, they went to Preston a few times, and there was a couple of times, especially attacking the line, where it took 3 or 4 guys to stop him, but they're stopping him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the Cowboys, and granted, the Cowboys defended really well, but I wouldn't say that they're known for being rock solid defensively. So that's sort of been one of their main go-tos, trying to sort of get Preston isolated with a half, and they don't have a lot else to offer at the moment.
Yeah, according to NRL.com, Tracy 0, Hayward 0, Galvin 2, Burton 2. So it's still 4. Granted, Galvin, Burton have crossed a couple of times, but yeah, as just try assists, it's 4.
Mate, that is actually wild.
Yeah.
That is actually wild. And that's why I understand the Bulldogs, staff have to put on a strong front. And, and I get where Sorrello's coming from, where he says, we don't need to listen to outside noise. We need to listen to inside. But I feel like you're kind of dismissing the outside noise when you say that, when I feel like the outside noise is warranted. No, I'm not saying the extreme stuff, but when we're sitting here going the attack is a problem, it's been a problem for quite a while, or since the back end of last year, I think they're 4 from 15 or something, 6 wins from 15 games or something like that. And so it's just since everything has been changed, it has been a struggle, and the stats and the facts back that up. It's not a middle ground. It's not a. Could you check how much they've won since round 18 from last year? It's like 40% or something like that.
Yeah, but also like, prior to when they beat the Panthers and that noise about O'Sullivan coming in was quite loud. I sort of said at the time, if you're going to pull the trigger on that, I think you need to do it sooner rather than later. It is a big deal to change your halves, and obviously, like as we sit here now, they've had a couple of really poor weeks back to back. But I think if you're going to do it, you got to sort of weather the storm and stick with it, right? Like, does that mean that Burton obviously goes to the centres?
Burton to centre.
And then is Sherry a winger now? Like,
Yeah, honestly, I'd do that. And then if he does, like, you've got a Dally M Burton in centre.
Yeah.
And then you've got Dally M centre in Crichton. If you can't put on try assists with Burton and Crichton in your centres, like, mate, like, what are we doing here?
yeah. So you'd have, Viliami, and then you'd have Burton outside him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably put Sherry on that wing there because he's been playing pretty well. But look, even if, let's say you did have to just, drop Sherry, even though it would be unfair on him because he's been pretty good for him, sometimes you're going to make some tough calls.
Yeah, and well, they did already, right? Like they weren't scared to drop him earlier in the year. I just think, if they're going to do it, if they're going to bring O'Sullivan in, and I think that's probably why Serraldo's saying the stuff about the outside noise and he's hesitant to do it because he's probably sitting there and he's looking at what they've got, and at the end of the day, they did beat Penrith, you know what I mean, with those guys in the halves, which, again, doesn't change the results the last few weeks, but once you make that change, I think you've got to stick with it. You can't revert back on it 2 weeks later.
And in Bulldogs' defence, I think O'Sullivan's been suspended the last couple of weeks, and he's back. He was back last weekend. So, what's their win?
4 wins and 10 losses since round 24 last year.
But as I said, like we're focusing on the spine and changes there, but I think that the problems are deeper now. Like, you got your star recruit in Leo Thompson on a big wicket. The game's on the line, and he's dropped the ball twice. Like, you just can't have moments like that. And then you've got other forwards that just aren't providing go forward, falling off tackles. Like, I feel like as well, because they've been so ruthless in how they've moved players on, I feel like there's a sense of the playing group kind of like nervous to make an error because anyone can get moved on because they've been so ruthless about it.
Yeah, I think that whole vibe of looking over your shoulder a little bit, like who's next? They've moved on some players who they recruited to the club and probably helped attract players to the club in the first place. That's definitely a bit of a vibe that's set in and probably not conducive to playing your best footy. So I think that's a pretty fair statement, pretty fair call.
I know he had a couple of errors, but I think a shining light for me has been Sewer, especially last week and this week. He works his backside off. He caught some high balls. I thought he was really, really good.
Yeah, ran for 183 metres, taking 22 runs, which they sort of needed out of their back end as well, especially in a game like that when you've got a few of the middles that are dropping the ball. Like, I think your back five needs to work quite hard, and he was sort of one of the main guys doing that for him.
Oh, I forgot about this. And then they moved Preston to the other edge.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. These running repairs things they've done in a few games just like reeks of, they're not kind of clear on what they're doing. Remember when they moved Critter into the halves a couple of weeks ago, mid-game, and
A dead set could cost Preston an origin spot, though. Like, the way that they're moving him and swapping him edges, like, he made 46 tackles.
Yeah.
Missed one, right? Like, that's crazy for a back rower to be doing that. And, like, it just looks chaotic, even for him. Like, the optics on, if you just watch the game sort of casually and you watch it and they're losing and he's getting moved from left to right and vice versa, like, it's just like, I hope it doesn't, but I'm starting to really worry about that for him.
No, I'm with you. 6 line breaks to 1. Basically 50-50, was 50-50 possession, so that's crazy. It wasn't even a big, a possession battle kind of thing. But yeah, here's a key one as well. Like, so the Cowboys had 3.24 seconds average play the ball speed. The Dogs had 3.44 seconds, and that's something that they used to win all the time with their smaller forwards just chopping in, getting down, getting up quickly. So like I think that at the moment it looks like either a club that has very different views on which direction they should head, but also a club that doesn't seem that confident in the decisions it's making now. Whereas like last year they felt super confident, locked in, and they just look. It's going to be a tough turnaround. It's going to be a tough turnaround because like the style of footy they played last year was so high tempo, so redlining. Like every game is like you've got to be the fittest bloke ever to play their style of footy. If you don't have that extra little 1 or 2% each game, like that can all fall apart quickly.
I think on that point, one guy they did miss who got HIA pretty early, was Kurt Mann. I'm not saying he would have been the difference, but
He helps to speed through the middle, yeah.
at the back end of the game, especially, like you got guys like Neem and Lodge out there for the Cows. I think if he'd been out there with his leg speed, he could have made a little bit of a difference. But again, like there's so many issues there, and the defense is a big one. Like they're aside for the last 2 years, we've been talking about them as if they can just get the attack right, like their defense is the best in the comp last year, right? So for it to be sitting there, and like I said, like Scott Drinkwater, one of the best ball players, not known for his physicality, and for him to be just punching a line, just scoring off a crash ball close to the line, like when you pride yourself on your defense, you'd be absolutely fuming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second worst attack in the comp so far this year, Doggies.
Wow. And worst defense or second worst defense?
Nah, conceded. They're actually not going like horrendously.
I'd love to know their last 5 games, though.
Yeah.
I'd love to know the
I'll
last
have to-
5
I'll have to
games.
work it out.
So, yeah, look, tough time. Another thing is that I'm surprised with the Dogs as well is like, surely they've got another 9 in their squad that's like a genuine out-and-out, either a young gun 9 or whatever. Because, so I think Turpin, I think he got injured, and that's what made potentially what Hayward went back to 9. Because that's another area where, so last week they make the call, all right, Turpin's our 9, Hayward's coming off the bench. Hayward looked great at 13. I really liked him at 13. I thought he opened up their attack. It's the best they looked all game. And then Turpin, I think, gets injured, so Hayward goes back to 9. But, surely there's a 9 in their squad. Surely there's more than just him and Turpin. Hayward's not even an out-and-out 9 at the moment.
No, and I think Hayward looks, when he plays, he's obviously all effort, but he looks a bit noisy in terms of sometimes he hesitates when he's supposed to jump out or he wants to jump out, and I think they need to find themselves a 9 who can just be a bit better with the ruck side of things, because when we've seen Melbourne at their best last few years, Grant jumps out, you got 2 halves there that can just punch a line. You've always had a quick fullback in around the ruck. That's just when they're almost near impossible to stop.
Well, if you're playing the Dogs, you don't have to worry about the ruck at all, really.
No.
And I'm not saying that they don't run hard and they don't get quick play the balls. What I'm saying is when you're playing the Tigers, you are constantly saying Api Coruscant, or Harry Grant.
100%.
Whereas Dogs, there's no creativity. And funnily enough, the one time they had creativity against the Raiders, they fucking opened them up and scored.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Tough times. Let's get to the Cowboys. Cowboys. Mate, what a turnaround. What an incredible turnaround for the Cowboys. Toddy Payton, I just hope it's not a streak. I hope this is the Cowboys that we're seeing going forward. They've been outstanding. And as I said, I love the fact it's only 12 points. Their attack's on point. What about Jason Taumalolo?
Yeah.
And Michaeli?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, those two are just absolutely flying. And, off the back of that, that's where their exciting players have been able to cash in a little bit. But Taumalolo did another, whipped out 200 metres again this week.
Whipped his 200-metre out.
I was thinking about this the other day. Is he eligible for Origin? I did a bit of digging. Apparently he moved when he was 13 years and 6 months, so he's going to miss the cutoff. But I tell you what, if he had I know he's at the end of his career, but far out, he'd be an absolute handful.
Yeah.
In the middle of this year, he's been playing some really good footy, keeping it simple. Just going north and south, basically. He's been doing a fantastic job. And you touched on Michaeli too. He's just come out of his shell this year. He's always been a talented player, but just supporting him so nicely. As soon as Taumalolo comes off, they're not missing a beat. They've got another big body there just dragging them forward. Those two guys have been absolutely killing it last couple of weeks.
And I've got to give Peyton credit. Whatever the situation was there, clearly they've, I guess, mended it or whatever, or there's at least an understanding. And I've got to give, how many, Michaeli's had talent for ages.
Yeah.
But it's taken Peyton to get the best out of him, so deserve credit there as well.
100%. And I think, with Taumalolo, he's always been known for his carries, right? But he had 2 offloads that were crucial in the end. One of them was what led to Drinky's second try. And it was a bit of a wayward offload. But he had his arm free off the back of a good carry, and it ended up leading to points. But the second one was mad. It was when they went down the left sideline. It was actually quite a skillful offload from him. But, Hammy, I saw, because we were talking about that the other week with the Origin stuff. They had him in on a show on TV. They had him at front row for the Maroons.
Taumalolo.
Yeah. So if you reckon he's just missing out, I think Leota's in the same boat.
Okay.
So I wonder if we could do a
little bit of an exemption.
We can play Leota.
Yeah. If they do that, though, I guess where's it going to end? I think but just on the Origin eligibility, I reckon Tommy Michaeli, you could do a lot worse. A spot on the bench for Queensland. I tell you what, he's been killing it this year.
Yeah, that's
you know what you're going to get.
Really
He's been
good shout.
very consistent and huge body as well.
Big boy.
Yeah.
Heaps of skill. He's been outstanding. And it's been a bit out of sight, out of mind, but that 1-2 punch of Taumalolo Michaeli, it's been one of the best in the competition
It has.
this year. So, mate, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Some other players, let's talk about Reid Marnie. So, clearly there's some bitterness between him and the Dogs.
Do you reckon?
A little bit, just a little bit. And so, you Marnie, you go down there and, you have a try assist early on for Drinkwater. You're playing pretty well. Game's essentially on the line. A crossfield kick comes and you drop it.
Oh, jeez. I would have loved to have seen the after try carry on there from Reid Marnie.
And so you're just sitting there going, what a missed opportunity. But he does what he does best. He puts his head back down. Leo Thompson coming out of his own end. And if you're a little fella, go and look at that technique on how to tackle just under the ball. You'd be surprised how often, especially in greasy conditions, a hard shoulder just under the ball will pop it up and out. And he did that. He nailed the spot. Leo Thompson drops the ball. They go up. Marnie puts a grubber in, comes off someone's foot. Clifford, I think, goes over.
Yeah, he finds Clifford.
That's the sealer. That's the sealer.
Yeah, I love Reid Marnie. He's just the way he goes after the game, and you mentioned the drop ball, but also early in the game when Galvin scored, Reid fell off the tackle, and I think big occasion. Obviously, you said there's some bitterness there, or it certainly appears that way. Like to be able to just shrug that off and just compete and just keep going, and he found a couple of pretty important moments for them. With the Drinky try and the Clifford try.
Well, I think Marnie's been like the one thing we said when they signed him was like, okay, is he as good as Reece Robson right now? Probably not. Well, probably not. He isn't.
No.
But can he instill like mongrel in defense in them? Is he a locker room kind of guy that can do that? And maybe he has at the Cowboys. Maybe he's been really good at lifting their energy in defense.
I can't really think of that many nines where you could sort of back him in to do what he did to Leo Thompson at that point in the game.
Yeah.
And I know Leo had a few other drop balls, but like at that point in the game, and sometimes the way it works, like you've already had a couple of drop balls, you're less likely to because you're just so secure. So to be able to force that loose was massive. And I think we often forget how good he actually was at para because of how like tumultuous it was at the Dogs.
I like that, tumultuous.
Tumultuous, yeah. Write that down. But I think I was stoked to see him have a hand in the try that sealed it as well. It was just fantastic.
Who else stood out to you, mate?
I thought Braden Burns was really good.
Yep.
He had 22 runs, 225 metres. He obviously scored that try at the end as well.
I can't believe that try at the end. Oh, my God. Imagine being a coach seeing that.
Yeah.
We spoke about it from the Bulldogs' perspective, how disappointed you'd be, but also, like, to Braden's credit, like, it was a pretty ballsy play.
Yeah, bloody
Because
hell.
if you don't pull that off and it just sort of goes to shit and you get tackled in the corner, like, it's not the worst result, but also I think at that point in the game, you're probably thinking, like, it's a bit of a selfish play.
Yep.
But to back himself in and get the outcome, I thought was really good. And yeah, their whole right edge, their scramble D, especially earlier in the game when they're under a bit of pressure, I thought was really good. So, Dearden, Chester, Burns. Mainly their right edge, I thought.
What are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm liking the name you just mentioned there, Tommy Chester.
Yeah, wow.
I'm liking the look of him. Like, both those guys, Purdue and Chester, obviously a little bit younger, a little bit smaller bodies, but far out.
Tommy Chesbra.
Tommy Chesbra, exactly. Hashtag that, get it trending. But those guys, like when they got the ball in their hands, geez, they're quick. Tommy Chester's so quick off the mark.
100%.
The way that he's able to get through, he had a couple of line breaks on the weekend.
And I think he came through the grades of fullback as well.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me. A lot of these guys, it feels like their best position is probably fullback. But, the fact that they're, Toddy Payton's getting them out there, letting them rip. They're getting games under their belt. Like, if they keep these guys together for next 5 years, whatever, holy shit, they're going to be a hell of a team. But I've loved what I've seen from him in the last couple of weeks.
I love how physical he is, Chester. Like when they drop that ball under and he's just hitting it at 1,000,000 miles an hour, he just cuts through like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah.
He is just so good to watch. Glides across the field. Actually, I'll go back, guys. The Marnie shot on Thompson, that was actually our NordVPN defense play of the week. I was overseas before the season started, and he used NordVPN for myself, sporting events, TV shows, movies, you name it. I watched it like I was back home, which was super convenient. Another great feature is that you can switch your virtual location to so many different places in the world. This allows you to save money by purchasing flights, hotels, subscriptions from other countries at a cheaper price. It's also super safe. NordVPN provides you with privacy online, leaving no digital footprint by hiding your IP address. It's like wearing an invisibility cloak online. To get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/bloke. Our link will also give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan, and there's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the podcast episode description box. Make sure to use the link to get your discount. The Marnie shot was absolutely the NordVPN defense play of the week. Anyone else in regards to the Cowboys? I just think that, you know who else? Ruben Cotter.
Oh,
I felt like he's had a couple of quiet years. Not in Origin. In Origin, he always just steps up. It's the best ever. But I feel like this year, or at least the last month, he's really upped his his tempo and his intensity. What do you reckon, Matty?
I was actually going to bring up Cotter because I wanted to ask, where do you think he's going to play for Queensland in a month's time?
Because we do have back rowers now, you know.
Because you're exactly right.
Yeah,
Fullback.
Fullback.
I think he's got to play middle because I think
I agree.
If you look at some of the guys that they're going to have, like we threw up McKaylee before. Hammy threw up McKaylee. I won't take credit for it.
Yeah. Come on, mate.
But I think if you look at the role he plays for the Cows at the moment, he gets through that much work. And I mentioned before, they got some bigger bodies there through their pack, like Lodge and Neem, you know, like Taumalolo. You need to have someone who can get through a lot of work. And I think he does that. So I think if you're going to pick him for Queensland, I know he did a job there on the edge. Was it last year or the year before?
Last year.
Yeah.
And he's played all over the place for Queensland.
But I think you'd have to pick him, especially if you're expecting it to be a really fast game.
I've got a bit of a crazy shout. Let's say for some bizarre reason, you know, Munster didn't get selected. What about Jake Clifford?
Well,
He-
if you're
he's
picking it on
killing it.
form and form alone,
He's been great. And
he would-
he's partnered with Did in the club.
absolutely, and they've done a exceptional job. He's really can goal kick as well. He's had his best season definitely in the NRL so far this year, and they've been humming off the back of it. So I mean, they will go with Munster.
Yeah, I think they'll go with
And
Munster.
there's every chance Munster gets in and scrap all the club form. He ends up winning the Wally Lewis medal.
Every
But
chance.
if it was just on club form right now, Jake Clifford would probably have to be in the
Mate,
chat.
he's been great. He's been
Very
so good.
The
So
big red
good.
dog.
Sorry?
The big red dog.
Yeah, the big red dog. He's been killing it, but he does everything. Like he kicks well. That try he scored where he just punched a line off the back of that kick deflection,
Yep.
ball playing. Like he's so well rounded.
And you're right about
long
that,
boot.
that
Yeah,
combo
long
as
boot.
well. Him and the left foot kicker, right foot kicker.
Yep.
You know.
Biggish body too, so he can take the physicality of Origin. So, yeah, great stuff. Oh, here's a question for you, boys. Is Scott Drinkwater the most informed player we've ever seen to be told that you're not wanted? Have we ever seen a guy that's like essentially the best attacking player in the comp being told, see you later?
I don't think so, but I don't think we've ever seen a back five where all five of them are fullbacks as well. I think.
Yeah.
So I think he's just unfortunately fallen victim to someone's a bit younger and wants to play fullback sooner rather than later, and he's been told to.
I know. Look,
pretty low.
I to a degree, I think it's a little bit too early, but I understand where they're coming from. It's just when you watch him play, you just go, how's this guy getting
I know.
told to move on? He's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah. Great get for the Dragons.
Mate, great get. Exactly what they needed. Exactly what they needed. All right. Anything else on the
Yeah, I'll
Cowboys,
just throw
boys?
one. Adam Reynolds was told to leave the year after the South Media Grand
Oh,
Final.
yeah.
So.
And that aged awfully.
That is the worst recruitment retention decision in the history of rugby league. There, I said it.
I agree.
I agree.
wholeheartedly
Some people have said to me Thurston to the Cowboys, but he
No.
wasn't known. He wasn't Thurston
wasn't
back
even
He was
then.
like
starting there.
3 years old.
Yeah.
Fucking
I
hell.
reckon Thurston to the Cowboys is the best recruitment decision probably in the history of the game. It's definitely up there. But
Yeah.
as of like the other way around, losing someone,
No.
Reynolds is the worst.
Well, the thing that's crazy about the Renault one is when they did it at the time, they were making it like
He's done.
yeah, he might have one more year and then he's done. And that was like, what, half a decade ago, and he's won a comp somewhere else
Yeah.
since.
And that year,
lost the grand final.
And that year, South made the grand final.
Yeah.
So since then, he's been in 3 grand finals.
so stupid.
Fuck. And he's a local junior, obviously.
Yes, he is.
You gotta look after your local juniors. I've always said that.
Oh, fuck.
What local junior?
Jesus.
Jesus.
What about Jock Madden back to the Tigers for the second time? That's a pretty bit of a loose carry by the Broncos.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, a bit of a fumble.
Yeah.
He'd be loving life at the moment, though, Jock,
Yeah.
after the week they've had.
Great weekend,
My
yeah.
goodness.
Stoked to be
well,
back there.
You know, bit of a tough assignment. He wasn't expecting to play. So he'll be right with a full week of prep under his belt. You watch him bounce back at Amy Park this week against Melbourne.
Oh, fuck. Outside of that, yeah, look, just a great performance from the Cowboys. I'm loving what I'm seeing, and right now, looks like they're probably going to make the 8. Okay, guys, Dolphins defeat the Storm 28-10. We did it last week, but we just wanted to send our, well wishes to Craig Bellamy and his family. Just a very serious situation, and you wouldn't, just a really, really tough. So I wanted to send our well wishes to Bellamy and his family. But basically, Dolphins win 28-10. And look, did the Storm look a little bit better? They did, but I hate to be too negative. I just think that the Dolphins were putrid in the first half, like rather than the Storm being that much better. Like, yes, did they show a bit more fight? Yes, but the amount of errors that the Dolphins were making going in, it felt like every time the Dolphins were in their 30, they had to score a try, and it's just like if you can just hold the ball, you'll fall over the line. And then the second half, they managed to hold the ball, and we saw what happened. So yes, the Storm was a better, but I don't think they were that much better. I just think that the Dolphins were really poor in the first 20 minutes of the game, first 30 minutes of the game, and then we saw what happened in the second half. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I thought like the effort was definitely better, but watching them on Friday night, I actually just thought, I think their forward pack's too big.
Too big, okay.
Like I think between like Steph and King and Clark, I think they're lacking. Like I think they really need someone who's a little bit more like leg speed orientated, getting through more work. Like Harry Grant making 54 tackles, like as you'd expect from him. But I think they need someone else there. Like later in the game,
because Trent's pretty big too. He's a big boy.
Trent's a big boy as well. Yeah. So I think like that Bostock try to me really stood. Like the try he scored where he sort of came back against the grain and just caught him out a bit.
Like Cam Murray cleans that up. You know, the guys that move really well in the middle clean that up.
Those slightly smaller bodies that are more athletic, they do clean that up.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're lacking at the moment. Like I think, because you watch them and a lot of the pieces in terms of the outside backs and like the halves and stuff, and I know they were missing Hughes and obviously losing Wishart hurt them as well after he scored. But I think that is something that is maybe holding them back a bit at the moment, and later in games especially. Like they hung in that game for a long time, and I agree with you on the Dolphins front. Like they were forcing their hand a bit in that first half, absolutely. But also in saying that, like Storm scrambled a lot better than we've seen in recent weeks. Like to get Asako to step out when he went for that try, and obviously they had the close call with Fuyaki where it was Fine Fuyaki, sorry, where it's was an obstruction. Yep. So they crossed the line a couple times, but just didn't convert it to points. But I thought, from the Melbourne point of view, that was something that really stood out to me. I think that they need to.
Well, it's not a bad point because you've got Trent Leoro, who's fucking huge.
Yeah.
You've got David Moali, who is massive.
Yes.
Joe Chan, pretty big. And then you've got obviously Stefano and Josh King, both quite rugged, immobile kind of front rowers. It's not a bad point, especially with the speed of the game. I think that, and then you've got Cooper Clark as well as.
Mate, he's massive.
And he's fucking
massive.
huge.
And
he's
that's what I'm saying. Like I think we spoke about the Cowboys before, and I think there's been different points throughout the last few years when Cotter's been out where you've really seen that, because it's like, fuck, like they also have massive bodies where you can get found out if you don't have those guys. Yep. Or Souths when Murray's been out.
Manly as well, for a period there, I felt like they were a bit too big.
Yeah.
They've got guys like Hetherington and Bullymore that are a bit smaller now that can get across the field.
Yeah, so that's, and it's easier said than done because maybe they don't have those guys waiting there to go. But that's
I feel like Alec McDonald used to be that there for him because he's not that big, Alec McDonald.
No.
But he's obviously, I think he's injured and he started last week, I think.
And was it in the grand final last year they lost him pretty early? Was it the GF or was it the week before?
Oh, I don't know. It might have been the week before.
Was it? Yeah, okay. I was going to say, like, you look at like tries later in the half in that grand final, like when Walsh went through and stuff like that. Like, I just think they're lacking someone else as a 13 or as a middle, especially later in the halves, where like they can clean up that work and do it. So.
Well, imagine like Harry Grant with like someone else with quick footwork around the ruck kind of thing. I mean, his 1-2 punch with cheese was fucking so good when he was at the club. What do you reckon, mate, about the Melbourne Storm?
Yeah, I mean, they're just in a bit of a world of hurt at the moment as well. Jerome Hughes, of course, out at the moment too. Doesn't help their cause, but
Wishart gone as well.
So Trent Tolau used to play with the Panthers. He's probably got the front run at the moment. Filled in the other day in this one, but yeah, they obviously led at half time. But the second half was just diabolical. Really, like they had nothing. They conceded 4 tries, didn't score any themselves. Never seen them like this, the Storm. I mean, I don't think they've lost 7 in a row. I think that might be the first time it's happened, but usually they've got all the answers. They've got a bit more depth this year. It's easily been tested more than ever, but I don't really know how they kind of dig themselves out of this one. All their key players are either out of form or injured. So, just as I say that, they're playing the Tigers this weekend. They'll probably smash us, but it's like it's a very unfamiliar situation to see the Melbourne Storm in. But they were poor again the other night because the Dolphins, as you touched on, they weren't that crash hot, but they just kind of made it work. They were the less bad team on Friday and got the win.
Yeah. Also, I thought the Dolphins did a good job when Hammer got sent to the sim bin as well. Like Melbourne didn't convert well enough there, but to not let in any points was a big swing in that game. Yeah, given it was in the balance.
Fair. What do you reckon, Matty? Storm.
Yeah, I think it's a really bitter pill to swallow that the Storm's Achilles heel this year, not necessarily in this game, but certainly the theme of this year, their edge defense has been horrendous. And it's really, really tough, the whole Eli Katoa situation. They've lost probably the back row of the year last year and probably the best back row in the NRL definitely can argue. So, yeah, it must be tough for Storm fans because it's they've in years gone by they've been able to kind of cover their asses and they've been able to rely on their big dogs, but it just hasn't been happening at the moment.
Yeah, that left side they've got in particular is like every team has had success against them this year. Like a lot of right edge back rowers have scored, and four of their 5 tries were conceded to right side players this week. So that is, if there's one area they've got to fix up, that's probably the most glaring one because every week it's been a huge problem for them.
Some shining lights though. Fa'alongo.
Oh,
wow.
Gracious.
My God. Jesus. Like, you say each week, yeah, okay, rough around the edges at times, but with ball in hand, there's no one else like him.
It's so good to watch. Even like the gas hammer.
And
to get
just,
her in.
Yep.
and just stop on a dime, hammer goes past him, and then he just basically strolls over the line. There's no one else in the NRL that, like, you've got guys like Kinney to a degree, but not like Fa'alongo. Like, the way, like, he's got 2 career tries in 2 weeks in a row. He's got that short kickoff against South last week, and then he's got a crazy kick return where he's just gassing blokes.
So I got asked a question yesterday. I thought it was a really good one. If you're a new club, and I guess it depends, like, if you're an existing club, the answer will change. But if you're a new club, where would you rank these fullbacks into who you'd want to buy? Buller, Fa'alongo, Tuapiki, and Kinney.
And they all stay on the field, like they're all
Yeah.
injury-free
So you have to sign. If you're Perth, who would you sign next year?
Probably Fa'alongo.
Okay.
Like, I almost be willing to bite the bullet with the defense to a degree because his attack is so unbelievable.
Yeah, I think
It's tough. It depends how they talk behind the line, to be honest. That's such a big component.
if I'm Perth and I'm not going to win a comp respectfully, we'll go close. At least he's exciting and he's young, so you probably go that. But if I was someone like the Chiefs or someone who's closer to being competitive, I'd probably lean more towards Buller.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like as a Roosters fan, you'd probably rather someone like Kinney. But it just depends on what team it is. But
I just love Buller though as well. I reckon he's just got so much more in him. I think he's going to grow so much.
Yeah, well, he's extended, so
Coming after him,
no,
man.
well, they can't now. I'll take Buller for
Take
sure.
Buller?
Lock him in.
Bit biased.
Okay. So on the weekend, he had a try. Fa'alongo had a try, 15 runs, 241 metres, 27 post contacts, 6 tackle breaks, a line break, 3 offloads, 6 tackles. Just an absolute superstar. Every stretch. The problem is for the Storm is like, I don't know where they go. It's not like they've got all this depth in the roster. They've used half their depth. I just, it's one of those things. Do you hit the panic button and go for a rebuild immediately? Do you stick it out? Because like the thing is that Munster, Grant, Hughes, Fa'alongo, that's probably who their spine's going to be for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
At least, So...
But, with Melbourne, like last year, I was saying before, when they would get front foot ball and like the halves and you'd have Su'a just flatten up, Pappy just flatten up last year. And like they were just rolling and you had Katoa and Chan, like they just looked near impossible to stop.
Yep.
I think the big middles thing last year was sort of, they were able to cover that given the way they used Wishart a lot of the time.
Yeah, because he'd come on at like a 13 or like in the middle there.
And also, they'd use Katoa a lot to generate momentum where they'd sort of turn him back under or something to start
Hughes
the
would
set.
use him all the time.
Yeah. And then from there, you'd see him sort of play more front foot and the halves would take the line on. So I think they really are missing him. But I don't know, if they don't have anyone there waiting in the wings, they've just lost Wishart as well. He was already covering in the halves. I feel really bad for him. Like obviously you touched before with like the news around Bellamy, like out of all the time to have this sort of run, it's just so unfortunate.
Yeah. Okay, now on to the Dolphins. And I tell you what, I just want to get straight into it. Bostock's return. Here's the
Fantastic.
Great Southern Bank full package. So the Great Southern Bank full package, Bostock's return, Dolphins performance. Great Southern Bank is making life easier for small business owners with their Business Plus app. With so many headaches and things to think about as a small business owner, Great Southern Bank's Business Plus app saves your time, money, and energy. Now, who was the full package? It was Bostock. He was absolutely phenomenal. I can't believe how big and powerful and fast he looked. He looked like Gasnier out there, honestly. He was huge. And like the crossfield kicks in that, you could tell, like Katoa was like signaling to the whole world, I'm about to crossfield kick to Bostock, but he's so good, he's going to jump over your head and get it. Like, even when he got to moving across the park like that, he was gliding. The combination of Herbie and Bostock, like, the sky's the limit. My God, I thought Bostock was phenomenal in his return.
Yeah, he was outstanding. Like he scored 2 tries that were essentially the difference at the back end. And you always hear when people are coming back from ACL injuries, like you always hear that it takes them a while to sort of find their groove. And I imagine like you'd know better than anyone, especially as an outside back, like there's so much more pressure on change of direction and stuff like that. And that try that he scored, though, he just looked like he wasn't even on his mind. Just went bang, bang, and then just gassed him. But yeah, I think their whole back five as well, just like you touched on Herbie and just the momentum that they generate out of their own end. And then also just having, like I was going to say 4 of them, but it's all 5 of them really that if they get the ball, they can just create something out of nothing essentially. Yeah. You know, it's crazy.
Well, speaking of the other back 5, Herbie Farnworth. Far out, bro. He is like, he's minimum $1 million player, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for so long.
And of course, the salary cap doesn't apply to the Roosters, so probably earn more than that as well.
Yeah, okay.
Because they're pretty keen on him at the moment. But why wouldn't they be? Unbelievable again on the week at 240 metres. It's just like a joke, like the numbers this guy puts out, but such a handful. He can do his footwork and stuff, the ability to... What did you say the other week? He like worked a guy around in a box, basically, kind of.
Oh yeah, he like fell over 3 times and like ping ponged between 4 blokes.
He's an absolute freak and just a big body as well. Doesn't miss tackles in defence. Like
he's got the best tackle efficiency of any centre in the comp.
Worth every penny that any club throws at him. But yeah, he was huge again on the weekend. And yeah, this back 5 that they've got, like if they're all out there, like and they're humming at the right time of the season, they can score points from anywhere. Really, they've got such a class out there.
He's leading the comp in line breaks and offloads. And in offloads, he's just shitting it in. Like, he's on 31.
Close on tackle breaks as well. He had 10.
Oh, sorry. That's what I meant. I meant tackle breaks, not line breaks.
Yeah, sorry, okay.
Tackle breaks, 57. And offloads, 31, with the next closest, 22.
Far out. So 241 metres, 99 post-contact, 10 tackle breaks, 3 offloads. No errors. Absolute. So Bostock and Herbie Farnworth, they are both the full package. And I tell you what, if you're a team playing them, they can go to either side and just split you apart. So, guys, who comes to mind when you think of the complete package? The one that's got it all: fast, versatile, safe, all business. Is it Cameron Smith, Andrew Johns, Jonathan Thurston? Here's one from left field for all small business owners out there. Business Plus should be your first pick. Business Plus by Great Southern Bank is the complete package for small business banking. Your first choice is whether you're a rookie, a seasoned sole trader, or planning to dominate and leave your mark. In the time it takes to start an argument with your mate over Smith versus Johns, you can open accounts, apply for finance, send invoices, and do all your business banking in one simple app. And just like the game's best, Business Plus is fast, versatile, and secure, making the ultimate banking all-rounder for small businesses, any industry. Download Business Plus by Great Southern Bank now. Terms, conditions, and eligibility criteria apply. In regards to the rest of the performance, like we spoke about a little earlier, about the first half, they just were trying to score every play. And I think that they got so many weapons on the field, the Dolphins, that a little bit like the Rabbitohs to a degree sometimes, where they can fall into the trap of like, if we pull this off, we can score essentially every set. But I just think that they're so much better when they build a bit of pressure, and we saw that in the second half. And I think that this win has been coming for a few weeks now. Obviously, a tight loss to Penrith, a tight loss to the Warriors last week, and then a big win against the Storm. This is exactly what they needed to build a bit of momentum into the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think it was a good win for them to get as well. Like, you could tell sort of early on that it was going to be clunky, and we could see that, and it was a bit of a shit fight. They didn't do themselves any favours. But they defended that really well, and, you know, Melbourne with a lot to play for and already under the pump anyway. They just weathered the storm, and, you know, like, even like Katoa, right? Like, he made 29 tackles. So Melbourne did a pretty decent job at, like, getting at him. He made 29, he only missed 1. And then to sort of bide his time and then have 2 try assists late. And, yeah, I thought it was one of those wins where it wasn't clinical by any stretch of the imagination, but it's also probably a game where over the last couple of years, it wouldn't shock me if the Dolphins lost it. But, you know, you find yourself under the pump and behind, especially against the Storm, like, even though, you know, they're out of form. But to just hang in there, weather the 10 in the bin for Hammer, and then come over the top late. Like,
wasn't that done by Hammer? My God.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you know that's a 10 in the bin every day of the week.
I know. Yeah. It's hard, though, as well. It's one of those things where it 100% should be 10 in the bin, like, and it is 10 in the bin, but also, what do you expect him to do? You know what I mean?
See,
like,
it is dumb, but in hindsight, they didn't let in a try in the 10 minutes. If you let go, they probably would have scored. So it's
Well, that's what's hard.
They were pretty far away from the try line. But maybe it was a genius move in the end.
Well, no, like obviously, like in the moment it's done, but it's a hard dynamic because if he gets off too quick, everyone's like, "What are you doing?" If he holds on too long, gets binned, like what happened, everyone's like, "What are you doing?" So I think it's such a sweet spot there, and depending on who the referee is, I reckon there's other referees there where he might have got away with it. You know what I mean? Like it's just it was hard, but yeah, got 10 in the bin, and they didn't score any points in that 10 minutes, but they didn't let any in. More importantly, and then they finished strong late, so yeah, good win.
Mate, personal, I thought really stood out. Max Plath. I thought Plath, he's just getting better and better each week. I still wish he was playing 13, but obviously he can play 9 as well. Mate, he's so good. Like, maybe because he hasn't been able to play the whole season, he won't make the Origin starting 17. But I want him to be a part of the squad because I rate him so highly.
He just feels like one of those guys who's made of the right stuff. And you mentioned there his best spot's probably 13, but he's playing 9. Like he's one of those guys, like, just get him out there and you know he'll do a job for you. He just... We spoke about him last year, Kempy. He just feels like he's made of the right sort of stuff for Origin. And he's almost got that kind of secret stuff that Billy loves. Wouldn't be surprised to see him named in a squad or even like an extended squad. He's a hell of a player. Finny Filiaki, another big game for him as well.
Like fantastic.
He's a bloke I reckon will be involved in Origin this year. Another try for him late, but he's such a handful on that edge and just pumps out huge numbers and has done it a lot this year, but just such a handful to tackle and to
Mate, when Katoa drops him off and he just
it's like he's been shot out of a slingshot, like an Angry Bird. Like he's one of them. He's playing some great footy.
What about just on Maxi Plath? Like I've always thought of him as how you described him, like a job doer of note, and I thought he'd play Origin being a job doer. How about that ball he threw to Cobbo?
Oh mate, fuck, he's a gun.
I didn't even know he had that in him. Yeah, just like
and he had a couple of great runs out of dummy half as well. Like, he's and what is he? I think he's like 21 or 22 now. So he's still relatively relatively super young.
Max Plath?
Yeah,
24.
24. Okay,
he's still relatively young.
Still relatively young.
That's super young
of him. So yeah, I can't wait to see how he develops as well. I would when JMK comes back, I'd love to see him at 13. So I guess we'll see with that. But Finny Filiaki, I'm with you, Hammy. He is just absolutely flying right now. So 210 metres, 64 post contact, 4 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, 28 tackles and an offload. There was a period there, like Selwyn Cobbo is such a weird guy to watch because sometimes you're watching him going, he's not fit enough and he needs to get... But then 2 seconds later, he's made a line break and he's run 60 metres. On the weekend, when he got moved to fullback, I was like, why are they moving to fullback? He's too big. His body shape is a centre or a winger at the moment. And so he got put back out in the wing and then he started playing outstanding.
Yeah, I thought coming into the year he looked noticeably fit relative to other years, and I think he has been playing that way. But he's just got he's just nonchalant, I reckon. Like, you know, I know what you mean in terms of you look at his like body shape and you're like, sometimes you're like, are you just like tired or what's going on?
Yeah, he gets up and he's like body language is real poor.
Yeah, and you're like, are you gassed? But I just think he's just quite like he
hasn't any chalant in him.
No, he's just not chalant. Yeah.
He needs more chalantness.
Give
me a bit more chalantness, bro.
But then you see little like snippets of chalantness, like you know when he does a mad finish or something, you're like, fuck,
in Origin for Queensland when he scored that try, there was a lot of chalantness.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
Is he a sniff at Origin, you reckon?
I don't think so. I think it's just...
There is other players who are being a little bit more chalant at this stage of the season, I think, who probably would be a little bit ahead of him.
And Slater, notoriously chalant.
Oh, he's chalant.
I just reckon there's not many chalant Queensland options on the at the moment. Besides Murray Taulagi.
Taulagi one of them?
He'll be in. I don't know who the other one's going to be.
Well, you got Jojo Fafita, you got Philip Sammy.
We'll get to Jojo. Oh.
I don't know when's Coates coming back.
Yeah, he should be back very soon. Yeah, he'll probably come if he's fit enough. If he plays 1-2 games, he'll come straight in. I reckon.
I don't mind that. Yeah,
Coates Taulagi, I'll take that.
Taulagi, yeah, big fan of his work. I mean, Bostock's just come back in. He's
Bostock.
Yeah, he's Blues.
Oh yeah, he is too. Yeah.
He's from Gerringong, I think.
I like that.
Damn it.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Did he move to Queensland when he was 13? Or before? Should look into that.
Didn't matter for GI, so that's fine.
What about Sako? Sako going to Storm. Didn't that fly under the radar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Geez, they could use him at the moment.
Yeah, they could. Absolutely. So, look, great win for the Dolphins, guys. Alrighty, time for Raiders defeating the Titans 28-12. Don't forget, guys, Bloke Jerseys dropping tonight. Limited edition. Once they're gone, they're gone. Never do them again. Raiders get the job done against the Titans. I got to be honest, I know the score says 28-12, so it doesn't really seem like that much of a drubbing. But respectfully, the Titans were never in this game. This was just from woe to go. The Raiders had this in a complete chokehold. Dominated them from Sasangi's first try all the way to the end. I thought it was Sanders' best performance. The Titans, it's almost like they take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. It's it's going to be it seems like it's going to be a very long rebuild at the moment for the Titans. But Raiders, exactly the win they needed, probably exactly the team they needed to kind of get up against, just to give them a bit of confidence. What do you think of this one, mate?
Yeah, obviously they've still got 5 or 6 key guys out, so I thought that was an important win for them to get. Dominated the middle, few offloads late. In tackles, it sort of caused a lot of trouble, especially Kyle Weeks off the back of it. Just looks so dangerous. The masterstroke of having Sasangi at back row, though, unbelievable, eh?
He's just like the best center in the game, and then he turns into the best back row in the game.
And he was a 5'8" in a semi-final on 3 seconds notice last year. He's a freak.
Yeah, and it's all obviously lit a bit of a fire under Matt Timoko as well, who had to spend a few weeks in the Reggies, has come back in and he's playing like prime Mal Meninga.
Read his stats. Have you got his stats?
Yeah, I've got him here. 25 runs, 324 metres, 126 post-contact metres, a line break, 5 tackle breaks. Just unbelievable. He is playing some serious footy. And
Sasangi take credit for those post-contact metres, do you reckon?
I think he has to get at least 50%.
50 of them.
Yeah. He's playing some great footy. And, I thought he was a little bit harshly dealt with, to be honest with you, last year, getting dropped. I think had a few not so great defensive moments in the finals where they got towed up. 11 tackles, just the one missed in the centres. Not too bad this weekend. So, we thought it was a bit harsh at the time, but clearly, making him go and earn it back, he's come back in and he's playing probably some of the best footy we've seen Matt Timoko play.
Imagine Hudson Young and Sasangi as your edge back rowers. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. What do you do? And then you've still got Matty Nichols and Noah Martin.
Hoskin
floating around. Honestly, they're very well sorted in that department. They got some absolute animals out there.
Yeah, I will say I felt it was like the first time this year I saw, not the first time, but for a prolonged period, the Raiders bully someone, just be physically more dominant than the opposition. Because I feel like they've been missing that kind of edge this year. Saw it a little bit, I think, was against a Storm, a while ago, or maybe the Dogs. Anyway, but yeah, for 80 minutes, really, really physically imposed their will on them. What do you think about the Raiders' performance, mate?
Yeah, they're slowly starting to turn the ship around, aren't they? They started the year so badly, and since that horrendous Knights loss, they've actually won 3 out of their last 4, with the Leichhardt game being the only L. So with a depleted list, obviously Hudson, we know how important Hudson Young is. He's been missing. They're slowly starting to turn it around. And once they get a lot of their cattle back, then...
Well, they're 1 win outside the 8.
Yeah.
It's such a close table at the moment. You've got... Yeah, so pretty much all the way down to 13. I mean, even Gold Coast and Eels are 2 wins outside the 8. Things could change drastically. And then you've basically got... Yeah, you've got Panthers on 16 points, Warriors on 14, Roosters on 14. Then you've got 3 teams on 12, which is Rabbitohs, Tigers, North Queensland. Then you've got 4 teams on 10, which is Manly, Cronulla, Brisbane, and Newcastle. So it's very, very close.
And as I said, they've got Young to come back, Strange to come back, Papali'i to come back, Martin to come back. I think, was Hosking to come back. They're all right. They're going all right. They're going better than what people are saying, I reckon. 3 out of the last 4, not too bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think, they've still got, we've spoken about the young halves and, him changing edges as well. Strange, I know he's not in there at the moment, but I think there's enough of a base there now. And when you're seeing Timoko run for those sort of meters, I know it's against the Titans, but I still think that they're going to be the sort of team that when they are on, when they're disciplined, I think they've had a few bad moments in other games. Their discipline was definitely better against the Titans, but again, it wasn't really tested too badly, but if they can get it together at the back end, I think they play a brand of footy that could trouble those upper end teams. Just some of those big middles, their ability to offload, guy like Kyle Weeks sniffing around and Strange. In broken play, those two are just so deadly.
Form-wise, last year and this year, just form-wise, is Kyle Weeks a top-tier fullback?
Right up there.
I think
sure.
so.
I think he is.
From the snapshot we've seen of him at fullback, I don't see how you could argue otherwise, to be honest.
I think that when you're looking at, does he have games as good as the other top-tier fullbacks? Kyle Weeks has had games that are as good as Tedesco or as good as, Tedesco stands out because he's the one that's been killing it so much. But as good as Dylan Edwards, like I think form-wise, Kyle Weeks absolutely is a top-tier fullback right now. Now, to get into that top tier, you obviously need multiple years and, certain things, rep teams and all that kind of stuff. But, mate, I thought, especially on the weekend as well, like, we'll put it this way, this last year and this year, there haven't been many games where Kyle Weeks wasn't in the top three best players for the Raiders.
Yep.
Like,
fair.
he's pretty much in the best three every single week.
Yeah, and longevity is a funny one because obviously someone like Teddy or Edwards, what makes them impressive is how long they've done it for. But this is his second year consistently at fullback, and from what we've seen, he's always up there. So
yeah, so just form wise, guys, I'm not saying career wise you put him in the top tier just yet. Got quite a ways to go there, but form wise, I think he's been outstanding. What about Dane Laurie? What a shrewd signing that was.
So smart.
Far out. Like, I rate him so highly.
Yeah, a bit of a Swiss Army knife. Can plug a few different holes as well. He's been, very serviceable in this style of role for a couple of clubs that he's been at now. Just, you know that you're not going to lose too much if you get him out there. He can play 7-6 fullback. He was great on the weekend.
Yeah, and to have that guy there ready to go, whether Strange is out or Kyle Weeks is out, even Sanders is out.
Yep.
Like, that's such a plus to have that. Such a plus in a roster to have that.
Yeah, was it last week when Strange went down, left the field and came back, and they actually just opted to leave him out there? I think they just used him as an extra middle. So he's so versatile, and it's funny when you think about when he came through and he was sort of like that guy at fullback, sort of the young guy that had a lot of upside.
He won Player of the Year at Tigers, didn't he?
He did.
You wouldn't have guessed that this is how his career would pan out in terms of being so versatile. You probably would have thought he would have landed as a fullback somewhere else, but I reckon he's probably in the best form we've seen from him since he was at the Tigers.
Yep.
Yeah. Been outstanding. Just back to the Kyle Weeks and the kick return meters. So kick return meters, 112 for the Titans, 288 for the Raiders. Just shows you how good his kick returns are, and that whole back three. So really, really important win for the club, and they're in touch with the 8, which is important. I am really intrigued. So I thought this was Sanders' best game. He looked in control. He looked calm, collected. He obviously made the team of the week. He had 2 try assists. I thought his kicking game was outstanding. 20 kicks for 630 meters. Like, that's as good as, that's a top tier kind of measurement of kicking. Like, if Cleary had that, we go, that's a good kicking game. Especially when you consider they won 28-12. So, like, it's not like he was on the back foot constantly and had to, boot it down the field 50 meters every single time. But in regards to Sanders, so he had 2 try assists, but he also had 3 line break assists as well. I love how patient Ricky's been with Sanders. Like, he's making sure there's not a lot of pressure on him. He's making sure that he's got, like, how sometimes you can hear when a coach talks about a player that pressure is starting to mount? Like, you can just feel it, kind of like the coach is getting a little bit frustrated. I feel like every press conference, Ricky Stewart has made a point, like, if that ever is brought up, to really protect Sanders, and I think it's going to pay dividends in the long run.
Yeah, I think there's probably 2, maybe 3 clubs that you'd want to be at if you were a young 7 like that. I think it's Canberra, it's Melbourne, and it's over in New Zealand. Like, I think he's in the perfect spot where it's a one-town team, so they're always going to get around the guy that's playing there. But like you said, I think, Ricky's been patient. I think, to be fair to Ethan, like, he's giving them every reason to be patient. Like, he's showing how much potential's there, and
I think he's been pretty good for the whole season. Like, I've seen some people critical of him. I think he's been solid. Like, I don't think he's been bad at all.
No, I think he's been really good. Like, I think when you weigh up that they've been missing guys and teething issues with someone like a Strange who got so familiar playing on the complete opposite edge last year, like, I think he's been really good. And he's still so young. I think people sleep on how young he actually is. So, like, if you're a Canberra Raiders fan right now, you're probably looking at it and you're looking at their forward pack, these young halves. You got Kyle Weeks. Like, yes, they're young, but they've been consistent, and they're starting to build consistency. So, yeah, I think you'd be pretty happy with how he's going, Ethan, for sure.
So, Owen Paddy, the return. Does that suggest, boys, that he's losing a bit of patience with Brayley off the bench? I know Brayley played at 13, but losing a bit of patience, do you reckon?
Well, I was going to ask, what do you make of that, playing Jaden Brayley at 13? I thought it was a bit of an interesting selection. Big Reds played there for most of the year. We thought at the time maybe a bit of an interesting signing, given they've got so many hookers kind of floating around. But Owen Paddy came on and did a great job, like he did last year, where he came on, bit of energy, almost kicked a 40-20. Maybe that spot with Jaden Brayley not so certain at the moment.
Well, I actually don't mind him at 13 because what we're talking about earlier about with the speed of the game, you need a smaller person in the forward pack. We know Jaden Brayley's a really good defender.
Yep.
And so if your job essentially is, mate, we just need you to clean up everything. Anytime there's a quick play of the ball, we need you to get line speed, try and shut it down. I don't mind having that smaller body at 13. Now, granted, it's a very small body compared to some of the other bigger boys, but when you look how big the Raiders forward pack is, maybe Ricky Stewart's gone, fuck, we've got a big pack. Corey Horsburgh is a big boy. Maybe we get a smaller body in there just to clean everything up.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think it's spot on. But also, it is interesting when you look at his career. When he's been at his best, he's been more of a sort of closer to that 80-minute style hooker prior to his injury run and stuff. So I think it makes sense to me looking at it. If they're going to play him at lock, that's one thing. But Owen Paddy and Starling to me are definitely more guys who you would look at for energy in terms of someone who's at 14. So if they're going to run with those two as the hooker combination, it makes a lot of sense to me. If you're going to play Brayley, you start him and you let him play longer minutes, but then you're taking away from the other two who are so good with ball in hand. And when you got guys like Tarpanay and Papali when he's fit there, and Horsburgh sniffing around, back rowers like Hudson Young, and if Sasangi's there now as well, you need a 9 who can jump and sort of play front foot. So yeah, if they are going to use him as a 13, I'd rather that at the moment than using him like an impact 9.
Yeah,
I reckon he's either a starting 9 or he's a 13 off the bench.
I think we've seen enough of him as a 14 to see that it probably doesn't suit what they need from a 14.
Yep.
And I think that's probably our first indication that maybe Owen Paddy is going to be that 14. I get where Ricky was coming from. Get 80 minutes under his belt as much as possible, Owen Paddy. He's the future. He's the next 10 years for you. But at the same time, like, you're still here to win, comps. Like, you're still here to win as many games as possible. And I just feel like, Brayley was coming on and he was doing what he's known to do, which is a steady hand at number 9 and make his tackles. But you need a bit more from your 14. You need energy. And I just think Owen Paddy's going to bring that, as well as, like, I think you have to start with Starling because his line speed. He leads the line speed. Starling,
big time.
Like, the amount of hits he puts on for a small fella is crazy. I think what was the last year he did on Regan Campbell-Gillard at the same joint?
Yes.
Forced that error. So yeah, I think it looks like they're probably going to go with Owen Paddy there. But yeah, look, good win, exactly what they needed. I thought Tarpany had probably his best game of the season. 17 runs, 166 metres, 77 post contact, 3 tackle breaks, 29 tackles, 2 offloads.
It was nice to see him in Big Red just pretty much dominate the whole game.
Yeah.
It's no coincidence that Sanders probably has his best game off the back of them too. Like, the forwards really haven't fired a shot this year except for a couple of games, and they really did on the weekend, and Sanders gets to do what he does. So,
and I don't mind, like, as Horsburgh gets older, just like simplifying his role, because I feel like sometimes at 13 he kind of gets a bit in his head and he's like thinking he needs to play a different style of footy. Whereas I don't mind if you say, Horsburgh, mate, go out there and just run as hard and straight as you can constantly, and let a smaller body like Brayley take care of that kind of stuff. So I'm with you. I just felt like Tarpner and Horsburgh played like the way we think Raiders play, which is a bit of spite, a bit of aggression, and they dominated. They absolutely dominated.
Yeah, and even like with his ball playing, because I know he can do it, but I said before on the weekend, a lot of late offloads from them, which comes from winning the contact initially. And I think Canberra always look good. And when you got those guys pushing around that are so quick, and even like, normally when one of them's taking a carry, there's a good chance Hudson Young's pushing outside him as well. So you got these guys where if you're playing post line, it's normally a good indication when you are a big pack. So yeah, it was good to see him playing with that sort of domination that they've been known for when they've been successful.
On to the Titans, boys. Listen, I feel like it was the first press conference where Hannay, he's getting sick of it. He's getting sick of it, and I don't mind it. I feel like one critique, just outside looking in, I don't know what happens between the four walls, but this kind of like, toxic's the wrong word, but it's a phrase, toxic positivity. And I feel like sometimes we fall into the trap of, you get told, oh, this study says this, and this study, and this new age athlete has to be constantly be positive. You can't be too harsh. And I feel like there are moments for that, and there are also moments for hard, honest conversations. And I feel like at the moment, it seems like at the Titans, they are more than happy to walk past low standards. Like, they need to get to a point where they're pulling each other up and going, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. And I think Hannay is getting to the point where he's going, listen, boys, I've stuck with this side since round one. Like, I have been loyal to you, and I've been, positive and kept backing you in, and it's not working. I'm not getting a response. And I think we might see a bit more of an old school Hane come out and go, all right, you don't want to respond to me being super positive all the time and super patient. I'm going to start cutting blokes. I'm going to start bringing new people in. And I think he needs to, because I just think that they've fallen into the trap of like, it's all well and good to be positive most of the time, but if you're too positive too many times, you walk past things that need to be picked up. And I just think that now's the time for Hane to go, you know what? I've been loyal to you. I'm going in a new direction for the next week.
Yeah, well, it doesn't need to be just negative on the other end either, because there's certain things that you can watch back, say in video, and be like, well, for us to be better, we can't do that. Like I thought an example of that would be when Fermor found an offload at one point and they're still in the game. AJ goes through. And it's still like pretty early in the tackle count, and he kicks the ball for Sammy, and it goes out, and it probably wasn't the play, right? And again, he's the guy in the moment. So, but that's the kind of thing where when you look back on it, and the way it worked out, they got a penalty, and JoJo scored off that kick anyway. But things like that, where it's like we're not going to build pressure if we chance our arm there, and that's always been what the Titans has been built on. Is like they get through there. Sometimes AJ would regather that, or it would sit up and Sammy scores, and that's mad. But probably 4 out of 5 times it doesn't. And then you've just given away a good chance. You've just busted through a team, got them on the back foot, and then you just let them off the hook. Like I just think that's the kind of thing where you don't need to be all positive and it's all good. It's like it doesn't need to be doom and gloom either. Of course, it's like we can't do that, you know. And like when is it Faymani? Is that how you say it? Faymani, the winger.
Terrible with names. The winger, yeah.
Yeah. When he dropped it cold over the line, like things like that. Like you're just not going to win games doing that. And I know he didn't mean to do it, obviously, but. That's 12 potential points there that you're just sort of letting go against a side like Canberra. So, yeah. But in saying that, I think there's so much that they can still build on. Like Cooper Bye had a couple of errors, but like he's showing a lot of signs. Like Jojo Fafita didn't really touch the ball either. Like I think he needs to get more ball. Like he's so dangerous. Like
gun.
I just don't get. I think he had maybe 7 touches. Sorry, he had 9 runs. 9 runs, and I'm like. He's so good. He needs to be getting as much good ball as possible because he's so big and quick. Like but yeah, I think that there is a lot to like about him, I reckon.
What do you reckon, mate? Titans.
Yeah, not their best performance this one. A couple of just you touched on the ball spilled over the line. That sort of summed up the sort of day they were having. Really, like they weren't able to kind of get anything going or much go their way. But disappointing because they played some good footy this year. They put 50 on the Eels a couple of weeks ago, you know, who are a good team. So, yeah, very tough to know what to make of them. Like, they're very up and down. Couple of guys had a rip, but even like Beau Fermor, who ran over 200 metres, he had a couple of just silly errors. You touched on the one there, kicking the ball out, 2 or 3 errors to kind of throw in the mix for him. So nobody kind of had a really, really good game. Still got the age-old question of, are you getting the best out of AJ in the centres? You know, he's another guy you'd probably want to see get the ball a little bit more. He only had it 12 times over the weekend. They've got Elias and Campbell in there at the moment. Is that the best combo for them to, you know, play their best footy? Not sure, but disappointing for them. They've shown some glimpses over the last few weeks, but yeah, probably one of their more disappointing results this year.
I reckon they played like a team that's comfortable, like the team that is not worried about getting dropped. Like, he's stuck so solid with them. Like, to put that's a home game, bro. That's a home game, and you roll that out. Like, I know it's in a new era, but we've been saying this about the Titans forever. There's so much to like. There's so much to like. Like, at what point do you go, you know, there's not so much to like. It's here. It's arrived. Like, they've got to turn a corner. It has to. Like, I know it's early on in the rebuild, but far out. They've got such a better team than they play.
Well, the thing we do like is their hectic attack. And their attack this year has been so woeful. Like, they scored 50 against Para, but I read a stat that they're the third worst attacking team in the comp at the moment. And you look at that squad, you're like, what the hell? Like, this team should be playing so much better. They've scored less than 18 points 5 times already this year. It's only around 9. They only did that 5 times last year for the whole season. So they've already equaled it. So I just...
In a year that's all about attack as well.
Yeah.
I reckon, though, like, they definitely haven't turned the corner, but I do still feel like they're turning the corner. Like, I think on the weekend, like, you're 100% right. Like, it just wasn't a good enough performance. But when you step back and you look at the actual snapshot of the season, like, I don't think that last year we would have been able to look at, like, I don't think they would have been capable of putting 50 points on anyone. You know what I mean? Like, I think when you actually step back and you look at some of the younger guys, like, if they are going to run with AJ as a centre, they probably need to stick with that moving forward. And, like, I still think Jaden Campbell, like, he's doing some good things. So, like, they're nowhere near where they need to be, but I do think I think when you compare their team this year to last year, I think they are on the up. I think they're improving.
Yeah, I think they've improved since round one, but like you can't have performances like this in your home. Like it's a home game. I don't know. I just get heartbroken by the Gold Coast so often, and I see all this potential, and it's been there for years, and that playing group has been there for years with all this potential, and they just continue to toss up performances like this. So look, I agree. I do agree they have improved, but they've got to find a way to minimise the distance between their best and worst game, because it's just. You can tell Hane's he's getting over it. Did you see the press conference?
No, I haven't. But
Mate, he's getting over it. Did you see it?
Nah.
Mate, he's definitely getting over it. Definitely getting over it. So listen, hope they can bounce back. You know, there are some signs of improvement, but definitely need to be better. Okay, on to the next game. Warriors defeat the Eels 36-14. Warriors dominate the Eels, and it was just a clinical performance, really. Now, I know Jason Riles, did you see the press conference there? Wasn't too happy with the refs, or at the very least, he said not going to ask any questions about the officiating. Did you get a chance to see that, mate?
No, didn't see him blowing up. But I think, to be honest, like it's we'll get to it, but some of the defense there is going to be interesting what they do with the team, because I don't think there's an easy fix, especially with the halves. But I'm sure we'll get to it. But yeah, what was he saying? Was he just saying that?
Oh, just like, so basically they got a lot of penalties. I'll get the stats up here.
8-3 penalty count.
Yeah, so it was 8-3 penalties, and then it was, so basically, if you include the inside 10 metres, it was 13, 14 versus 11. But in saying that, you know, refs do have a tendency to kind of even things up towards the end, so it doesn't look as bad. Look, I just think the Eels right now, they are, you know, Moses has been relatively quiet. Volkman's actually been quite good for them. And they
got some votes.
Sorry?
He got some votes.
Absolutely got some votes.
Better
absolutely.
than Jackson Ford, apparently.
And so I just think for the Eels at the moment, they're just struggling so much with all the injuries they've got. Like they've lost Hopgood, Bailey Simonson, and
Iongi.
And there's someone else that they're missing as well.
They lost Riley Smith,
They lost Rice
Very,
in the
very
game.
early
Yeah,
in the game.
Sternum.
De Silva in the game as well.
They've lost Matt Dury, Twiddle, Sam Tuivasa. Yeah.
There's an
a lot.
interesting thing coming up though, where so Pezzett returned. He's obviously been out. He
Yep.
played cup on the weekend.
Yeah.
Now, Ronald Volkman led in a couple tries. Pezzett, when he was playing, also on that edge, was like problematic. Does Pezzett come back in? Like I think that Volkman complements Moses better than Pezzett does with the ball. Now the defense is a question mark, but I don't think that you got someone to come back in that's going to solve that.
No,
So-
I don't think so. Like I felt like Pezzett playing was pretty good in attack, but defense-wise it was tough. And I think Volkman's been one of their better players. Like
100%.
I think the fact that, you know, Pezzett's come back through reserve grade probably tells you where he's at.
Yeah, so you reckon that's not just like we'll ease him back in? You reckon this week come?
No, I don't
tomorrow?
think so. I don't know why you'd. Yeah, I don't know why you'd ease him back in, because he's only had 3 or 4 weeks off. It's not like he's had, you know.
Yeah, well,
half a year.
I'd be sticking with Volkman. Like I think defensively, you're gonna have to work on it either way. I think that's been a problem when both have been playing. But their attack, like I just think, because Ronald's running game is a lot better than Jonah's, and given Moses is the guy in the team, I think it just makes more sense. Like at least you're going to get the attacking upside.
Mate, I tell you what, we'll get to it. But like, Duffy again was outstanding for the Broncos. Like,
Oh,
mate, I don't think it's going to be a foregone conclusion that Pezzett comes in and starts for 7 for the Broncos.
I mean,
Only been there for 3 years, so that's all good.
that's insane, eh? That's
Well, Duffy's
Playing
been
some good footy.
outstanding.
Yeah.
He's been outstanding for the Broncos. So I guess we'll see. Like, put it this way, if you're the Broncos and Pezzett can't get back into this Eels side, like, I know it's a different team, but like, surely you're sitting there going, oh shit, like, I mean, I guess we'll see. It's only one game, but in regards to the performance, boys, what did we think with the Eels? Who stood out? Who didn't stand out? Where do they need to work on things? It's very hard to be too critical of them with all the injuries they've got.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
I think that every week that Iongi is off the field, his price somehow goes up.
Yeah.
Like they're missing him so much.
A lot of like all their attack was based around Iongi doing something special, especially with how do you guys feel about Moses' year so far?
bit quiet.
Yeah, it's hard to tell though. I reckon, I think the main issue with the Eels at the moment, like their edge defense in good ball isn't great, but like I think their middles, like their cover just isn't that good. Like I don't think they work that hard from the inside, and they get done a little bit on that side of things. And again, I know it doesn't help when you lose your 9, and like say Talon had to come in and play big minutes, but like Jack DeBellin, he's probably one of the more mobile guys in that pack. He only played for about 38 minutes.
Yeah, that's great. Like,
which I actually went through when I was looking at it after the game, and I was like, was he injured or did something happen? But they've been using him for those sort of minutes, and I think you need more out of those guys, because at different points there, even in the edge defense side of things, like they're just not working hard enough from the inside out, and they got some massive bodies there, like Junior Paulo and stuff, and.
Yeah, it's just tough for Eels fans because like they showed so much promise last year.
Yeah.
So much promise.
Yeah. And they've had a few moments this year where you're like, okay, that's the kind of the Eels that we kind of expected this year, but then they've had some very disappointing results as well. I'm with you. I think they probably lack a little bit of depth in the middle there. Like Junior Polo, great player, probably a little bit past his best. He's been solid for him, but beyond him, like they drop off in quality fairly significantly. They probably need another big bopper or two just to...
Well, Jack Williams been forced to move to an edge.
To the edge, yeah. He's been good as well, but... Yeah, I mean, and again, they've been decimated with injury, but they're probably just lacking a couple of other big boppers in the middle there to give them something to play off the back of.
Jeez, Riley Smith going down, that's tough.
Yeah, it was. But, like, I just think their attack, they've got glimpses of it where it's just, especially there was one point where, coming from the left edge, I think in the first half, where Vulcan was at first receiver, Moses was at the back. So I think it's sort of slept on because of how good Brown was for so long as a runner. I think people sleep on how good Moses is as a runner when it's on as well.
Yeah.
So I think it was cool to see Moses at different points actually playing out the back of shape as a second receiver, not just as the guy. And yeah, I think it just comes down to their defense. And we spoke about it a few weeks ago, how they, especially when a back rower gets caught at marker, like they just get torn apart regardless of where they are on the field. So I don't know. It's hard because you'd expect Riles, like that would be something that he's so big on. Like we're not sitting here talking about it and he's not talking about it. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's like an attitudinal thing or how you fix it, but there is a lot there that they can work with. Like I don't know how they go about fixing that, to be honest.
Alrighty, the Wars boys, 36-14. They are absolutely flying. This forward pack is a problem, an absolute problem. I think they're building so nicely. I said it on SEN, like I reckon in the next 5 to 10 years, they will be the next juggernaut in the NRL. I love everything they're doing. They got depth for days. They got forwards for days. They got halves for days. They got everything you could need. I think they've recruited really well. Khan Pereira has hit the ground running. Warbrick is arriving. I think he'll do really well there. I know he struggled a bit at the Storm, but a fresh start there. It got Grant Anderson coming as well from the Broncos. Mate, I really like what I'm seeing at the Warriors.
Yeah, so do I. I think their attack is, I know statistically, but in terms of best to watch, I think it's the best in the comp to watch. Like just, they've got so many guys on their edges. Like you got Lecker, Tuapiki out the back, even guys like Roger who are just one-on-one nightmares to defend. But then the way they use their middles with their shape and just the versatility of those guys, like Aaron Clark, his ball playing ability is just crazy. Like, I just think that between him, Ford, Barnett, and he put Ford over for that try that was pretty important, as we spoke about a bit earlier, but he did a similar thing for Barnett. I just think, just when you think that you're reading what's going on, there was one point where they fed Fisher Harris front door and he turned around and you would have thought he was going to pop to, I think it was Tannerboyd at the back, but he threw over the top and they skinned him. Like, Webster must be a genius. Like, he just must be an actual genius. Like, you're watching it and you think you can see what's going on from the TV, and then even you get fooled, let alone if you're the guy there in the moment defending it.
And what's crazy as well is, like, he lost, like, club greats. He lost, like, three. He lost Tohu Harris, Sean Johnson, and Adam Fanua-Blake all in 1 year, and they got better.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Do they have the best middle man in the comp at the moment? Certainly in form.
I think they've surpassed the Raiders as the best forward pack in the comp at the moment.
Yeah.
So certainly, like Fisher Harris, Ford, and Clark, and then you throw in Mitch Barnett as well. Like, no one's beaten that at the moment.
You've essentially got Origin tier forward pack, starting forward pack
For all of them.
Yeah, I mean, you've got an Origin player coming off the bench at the moment.
Yep.
Barnett could be coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is just crazy.
Normally with like a forward pack, you have to give somewhere. Like they might be really dominant and physical and powerful, but you know, as much skill or leg speed. Like they're just so well rounded.
And
they
then you've
do
got
everything.
Munga coming off the bench going absolutely skits.
Yeah.
He is fucking he is a problem. If I had to be hypercritical, I do think Lecker needs to get more involved. Like I know that he is the, you know, pass the ball and I will score a try. Like I get that, but I want to see 10 runs minimum a game from him. Just because I just think the more it's like, you know, as well, if you get an early touch, it just puts you into the game really early. And if you've got Lecker just running it straight 10 times, I guarantee one of those times he makes a line break. And so the more the ball is in his hand in a simple scenario, doesn't have to be flashy or anything. I just want to see him just carting it up, hitting him behind the markers. He will absolutely bowl teams over.
Yeah, I think there's something to what you just said because he's pretty early on. He dropped off the tackle on Volkman when he scored that try. I don't know if that maybe made him go into his shell a bit, but I think like especially if he's playing centre and he's coming out of his own end, like I think it's a little bit easier as well. But yeah, and they've moved him around a little bit this year. But yeah, either way, I think the more ball he gets, it's only a good thing for the
It
Wars.
just brings him into the game. Like
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes players like him is a little bit similar to Fafita, where if you don't get brought in early, like they just kind of wait for that moment to happen. And look, Lecker is delivering on the moment, you know, the years. But I just think there's so much more in him, and he's had a bit up and down this year. He hasn't been poor by any stretch, but he's had these big moments and then a bit more quiet. I just want to see him have that 10 consistent runs a game, and just take a bit of pressure as well off the forwards, and just like Lecker with ball in hand, like he's a fucking beast.
Weapon.
He's a beast.
So young as well. Plenty of good footy ahead of him. How about the halves combo? Tanner Johns and Janelle Harris to beat a Lockyer at the moment.
Yes.
Absolutely killing it, these two. Like they haven't lost a game when these two have been their starting halves. So poor old Lukey Metcalf, you know, leading the Dally M last year when he got injured.
Yeah.
But how does he find a way back in? These guys are just going so nicely together. There's you know, Tamari Martin, there's floating around the squad as well. Jet Cleary. There's so much depth in the halves at the moment at this club, but these guys at the moment are doing the business. They complement each other so well as well.
I mean, it just shows you the brilliance of Webster. You've got a guy like Tanner Boyd who has had so many chances at the Titans to make it work. Gets in the Webster system, needs about 12 months to sort it out, and he's arguably behind Nathan Cleary. He's probably like the Form 7 of the competition. Like that's how good he's going at the moment. He's leading the Warriors to almost a guaranteed top 8 finish this year, potentially top 4, and that's under Webster's system. Then you look at a guy like Jackson Ford, couldn't get a start at the Dragons. Like young guy coming through, basically got brushed, was in the wilderness, goes over there, should have got Dally M points, is essentially the best front rower this year so far form-wise, and that's all under the Webster system, all under the Webster system. It's just crazy how good of a coach he is. And I can't imagine, like, what's it going to be like when he gets a 16-year-old that's got all the talent in the world as a 6 or a 7, and he's in that system all the way up to first grade. Imagine how good he's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know how it flies so under the radar. Like I know they're over in New Zealand, but you just touched on all those guys. Even someone like a Kurt Capewell, who when he sort of went there, like it was a bit up in the air what he was doing. Like he's
It's like near the end of his career almost.
yeah,
like.
and that's how they were talking, and like getting the best out of him. Like Aaron Clark, there's a lot of guys there who
Aaron Clark, Dally M winner, first year down there.
like heaps of guys that weren't even getting looked at other clubs that he's getting the absolute best out of, and that's one thing to it's one thing to bring out the best in someone, but to take these guys who aren't even getting looked at and make them into like the form guys of the comp on such a wide scale across so many different positions is insane. And as I said before, it's not like he's giving a lot in defense in terms of, they're great with attack, but they're, you know, like say how people talk about Drinkwater. Amazing here, but he needs work here and they can't get it done. It's so hard to get the balance of both. But all those guys, like their effort areas, defensively, they're sound, like, and then the attack is just, not only is it effective for them, but it's exciting to watch, which is mad.
So they've opened extension talks with Tanner Boyd. I think that's a smart thing. I think if you get him right now, there might be still a sense of loyalty from Tanner Boyd, and you can get him for a little bit cheaper. You know, it just shows you, like, footy's all about timing. Metcalf doesn't get that injury. He heads into this year. He has that jersey on lock. Tanner Boyd probably has to go somewhere else. And I want to give Tanner Boyd a lot of credit, actually, because last year, I think when the Perth Bears were looking to recruit, and there was a few clubs that actually were interested in Tanner Boyd in reserve grade there, and he chose to re-sign with Warriors in reserve grade. Like, that's how good Webster's system is. You've got a guy that's winning state cups and the interstate cup, and he's saying, you know what? I could go play first grade at another club, but I'm going to stay here and play reserve grade. And he's been rewarded because, like, as I said, outside of Cleary, he's probably he's in the top 5 halfbacks of the year so far this year. It's so amazing to watch. I thought RTS was outstanding. I thought just like he's just finding his groove. I felt like there was a couple of weeks earlier in the year where defensively he was struggling a little bit, maybe a couple of errors here or there. I think he's really starting to find his groove out there.
Yeah, their entire back five all ran for over 100 metres too. We just spoke about how dominant their middles are. And obviously, he's a big part of that. Would you boys say, if you had to like bet your life on it, do they win a premiership before 2030? With how they're going right now?
I mean, they're tracking nicely. Probably some of the best juniors. You know, they've got a good... Like, what are we now? Yeah, next
Give them
5 years.
years.
Like I can see, like this year, if Penrith landed on the other side of the draw and like, I don't know, Broncos pipped them or something, or like a Roosters pipped them, and they ran into a Broncos or Roosters in a grand final, like I can see, like I would have Broncos or Roosters as favourites, but I can see that it would be maybe a 60-40 split. Like I could see them doing it. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Because we saw a couple of weeks ago, we just spoke before about how the Bulldogs are going. We saw them upset the Panthers, right? With the coach, and I think it sort of got slept on that their coach knew the system so well. Webster knows their system pretty well. I just don't think he's ever had the cattle to go with Panthers. I think this is the first year. I'm looking at them thinking at the back end, if they were ever going to be able to beat them, like with how they're playing now, the guys that they've got and what they're getting out of them, like I think they're a good chance. So yeah, if not this year, I think they're a good chance before.
Like if there's a forward pack that could go toe to toe with Penrith, it's absolutely the Warriors forward pack, and maybe even win that physical battle. It's a fair shout. It's a fair shout.
They're $11, the Warriors.
Okay.
Win some, you lose more. But yeah, they're.
I mean, and what's crazy is like they've even got guys like Sam Healy that are just like slowly developing off the bench, getting better each, like so that's sort of for the next 10 years. And then you've got guys like Eddie Iromai Tova. He was great off the bench. They got Laban off the bro. They are just absolutely stacked. Absolutely stacked. So great win for the Wars. Okay, into the next game. Roosters defeat the Broncos 38-24. And so after the first half, I'm sitting there going, premiership contenders, here it is. The Roosters have arrived for the season. This is a season-defining game, and they are a juggernaut. And they've been building really nicely towards this. And I still think that this is a great win for the club, like a really, really good win for the club. Just that second half, I'm going to try to ignore it because it's just like, okay, the Broncos are the Broncos. But if they could just, even if they let, 12 points in or something like that, but just that second half concerns me that, this Rooster side, this is their problem, is like they go on the field and they blow teams off the park. And then for some reason, they just go, I don't know what it is. I'd love to get your thoughts as a Roosters fan.
Yeah, I don't think you can ignore it. Like I think the first half was fantastic. Like I think
unbelievable.
We look our best when we're just so middle centric and just direct. And
I think Reece Robson and Tedesco are forming one of the best combinations in the competition.
I think it's going to be one of the best combinations for sure. Like just for context, so Reece Robson, right, he had 6 runs for 55 metres, which you sort of hear that and you're like, whatever. But he picks his moments so well. Like we saw him score a try, obviously jumping out from 9. That first try where he found Teddy and then Teddy found DCE. But the average play the ball speed, you threw out a few before, it's pretty standard set in the 3s. His was 2.55, which is a pretty good indication that when he's jumping out, he's finding his front, passive legs tackle up, and we're off again. So yeah, I thought
Teddy just is. If there's one guy you want taking that next run, it's Teddy.
100%. So I think it was great to see that in the first half. I also think obviously there was that moment, bit of a turning point in the game in terms of the momentum where Savala didn't score, and I think a lot of the focus will be on Savala. Because of that, I think people are going to sleep on how well Reece Walsh did there. To stop that try, that was fucking insane.
For him to keep his feet and somehow turn around back towards the corner, like only Reece Walsh can do that shit.
100%. But I just think like some of the tries that they let in were pretty disappointing. Like you had Walsh from dummy half, Carrigan through the front door. Ricky essentially didn't get touched. Willison essentially didn't get touched. I think it was also the way that they were scoring. Like I think full credit to the Broncos. Like your captain and your halfback leaves the field, you're already down 30-0. And then Duffy comes on and they do what they did. But I just think from the Roosters' point of view, like the way that they let the tries in would be very disappointing. I think internally they would know that.
Yeah, it's so typical of Roosters to give you a half a footy where you're going, who stops this? Like who stops this momentum? Hitting in, jargon behind the ruck, The Broncos' middle looks loose as anything. And then the next half, you're going, fuck, like, what? It's like a different team runs out. It's so strange.
Yeah, and I know like they're not to the same extent, but because it wasn't as big of a comeback. But you look at the grand final last year, right? If you go back and you watch the tries the Broncos scored, you wouldn't sit there and go, fuck, what are the Storm doing? Whereas on Saturday night, a lot of the tries, even though it was good shape and good work by them, it was just really bad defense. And I think that's where it's concerning for the Roosters, because it's all good to sort of score 30 points in a half. That's insane. Or, just over a half. But to end up in a position where you're genuinely back in the contest is probably
like
not good
Stags doesn't go off for 10. Like, there's a world where Broncos run home with it.
100%.
And in the first half, in the first half, the Roosters had 71% of the possession. I think the penalty count all up, if you include infringements, was 9-2 in their favour. But it was their like momentum that kind of forced that to happen. And so if they just need to lean into that. And then maybe it's hard for them, because like to keep that energy up all game is like almost impossible. But if they just lean into that, just pinging in behind it's so hard to stop with big bodies, and especially Teddy, because like Teddy's going to find his front one of the times. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's going to find his front. That's going to create momentum. I love the combination they're building. So look, I still think this is a good win for the club, for the Roosters. They're building. Yes, it was a disappointing second half, but I think they're building quite nicely. Like, I think that they've slowly gotten better each week heading into this game.
Yes, yeah, they should have won it more easily. Probably they were on track to put 50 on the Broncos. In all seriousness, like it was basically 30-0 at halftime. They were absolutely flying. Some good performances from the Chookies. Naf White just playing out of his skin. He's been their go-to guy all year in the middle. I actually like this game from both the halves are good, but I thought Daly Cherry Evans very good. Like chose some good moments to run the footy. Obviously had that try, nearly scored another one as well. I thought, they're an interesting combo, and it's taking a bit of time to, complement each other, the best that they can. But I actually didn't mind the way that they kind of, be interested to get your thoughts, Tommy, on what you're making of that combo at the moment. But I thought they both had pretty good games, especially first half on the weekend.
Yeah, I thought they're starting to find their balance really well. But one guy, and I think he really helps free up Walker. I'm looking at Connor Watson at the moment going, fuck, do we lose him? Like, after he comes on with about 8 to go in the first half, right? And it's 12-0. Like, Roosters are on top, but not, like 12-0's not crazy yet. He pings him behind, like you said before, gets a quick play the ball, and then Savala scores the next play off that kick from Walker. He then goes to kick for Toya, it deflects, Walker scores. So he comes on, has a fucking massive impact on the game, and then just after half time, he puts Nat Butcher over under the post. So I think to be able to play like that for a full 80 minutes, you need someone like that. And when I'm looking at the younger guys that we've got coming through, I don't know if we've got a guy who's going to be able to do it at the click that Watson does. Like he is literally the best guy for it. I know we've got a 6-man bench now, but if you were ever questioning the relevance of someone like him, all you got to do is watch that game. And
yeah, he was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. It's actually, I think in the modern era of rugby league, it's the lowest amount of missed tackles in a game.
Wow,
shit,
crazy. Yeah, random stats guy come up with that one, which is weird because they still scored 38 points, 24 points. Yeah, so look, good win for the Roosters. They're tracking really well, sitting in the top 4 now. And I do think that it's slowly coming together, this Sam Walker DCE combination. Like, it's not, I haven't walked away from a game going, holy shit, like that's special, but it's definitely getting better, I think, each week. So you can take a lot of positives out of that. I'm just trying to think who else stood out for you guys in the. Oh, Nat Butcher. How good is he?
He was fantastic.
Really good.
Yeah. He has been outstanding.
Ran for 173 metres, obviously scored that try as well. I think for the Roosters to compete at the back end of the year, and with the Walker DCE combination, like, you sort of need to lean into the idea that you're playing a brand of footy where when you are finding your front, whether it be Teddy or the middles, it becomes a reactive game, which is where Sam's so strong. And DCE can sort of navigate us out of yardage or whatever. I think where we've sort of shot ourselves in the foot the last few years is you start to see him trying to work too much to a point to then play, and I think Sam gets in his own head and then kicks it on second or whatever. Obviously, I'm over it. But yeah, I think, between guys, and even Butcher's so interesting because he came through sort of like as a back rower.
Yeah, edge kind of player.
Yeah, and like now, he's
perfect for the modern game in the middle. I like him.
He's fantastic. Yeah, and he's had a pretty big impact on a couple of games this year. And on the weekend, I think, he came on and just sort of did what he needed to at a time that it sounds weird to say, but we had to sort of get up 30-0 in order to win that game. As it turned out, I think if it wasn't, and even still, we almost lost it. So I think he was very dominant.
Man, I tell you what, like, obviously the Broncos don't want this to happen, but if you're playing the Broncos, you're just going, fuck, like, they are never dead. They literally,
100%.
like, it was 30-0.
Yeah.
And then they basically, within a whisker of winning that game. What do you think about the Roosters, man?
Yeah, seen this story before. Like, start of the year, patchy but still good. They can still win the comp, and then 2 seconds later you think, oh, geez, what's going on here? But yeah, I probably have them as second competition favourites at the moment still. I think there's just, I even though like there's so much evidence in the last few years that they kind of do fade out at the back end of the year, I think there's enough in this squad. But yeah, it was pretty disappointing to see. Well, not for me, I was going for Broncos, but it was disappointing to see, 4 tries in 15 minutes. You're just like, when are they going to pull it together for a full 80? And like, you look last week on Anzac Day, sure, but it's the Dragons. They haven't won a game yet, and they still let the Dragons, who are the worst attack in the comp, score a couple of tries. So yeah, I don't know. We're just waiting once again with the Roosters. But I think one guy, a month ago, I wasn't sure who the Origin 9 would be. I think it's going to be Robson now.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like I flip each week. Like, granted, now Robson missed a lot of the start of the year, but I was leaning towards Brayley last week to a degree. I'm starting to lean back towards Robson, especially if you go Teddy at fullback. Like,
yeah,
yes.
Like I think the game against the Knights, Robson was awesome. On Anzac Day, I know Walker won the medal. He could have given that to Robson. He's running it more than I thought he would this year.
Well, it's not luck that since he's came back, Roosters have looked substantially better.
100%. There was a game, it actually escapes me now. We got absolutely towed up. It was the Panthers game, and it was his first game. And even though we got absolutely towed up, I remember I was out there for the game and just watching him for the stint that he had, and I was like, he's going to be fucking great for us this year. And we've definitely built with him. I do think though as well, like, we can't underestimate that, like, you're still missing Haas and Jensen. Like, we won the middle so quickly, so early on. I know, like, full credit to Robson and Teddy and that, but again, you throw those guys in, I don't think it happens as easily. Is it a bit more of a contest? I don't know, but
yeah, like it's tough. You don't want to sound like you don't want to not give credit to the Roosters, but the reality is our starting front row was Jezewski and Talty. And like, they are not necessarily, like, they're battlers, and full respect for them. I love them. They're so good to have part of the squad. But like, Jezewski's not a middle for one, and he's more of a squad guy. And Talty's been great, but he didn't even make our starting 17 last year for the grand final. So we're missing quite a few players, but it doesn't change the fact we've still got some fucking good. Like, Willison's a gun, Carrigan was there. So we've still got some guns. I will say, like, from a Broncos perspective, like, man, when Reece Walsh just, like, takes control of a team, he just, like, fucking, his ability to find points is just, like, second to none. Like, he just like, so Reynolds goes off, he takes the mantle and says, all right, this is my team now. And it's just like, fucking, I just can't believe it. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, he's a super talent. If I was a Broncos fan and I'm watching that game, like, I wouldn't even be that disappointed with how it played out in terms of, like, down 30-0. We just spoke about who they were missing and where the Roosters found joy so early. To fight your way back into the game without your 7, to have your backup 7 come on and to play a key role in 3 of the 4 tries, you're sitting there, and exactly like what you said before, you're like, we're never dead here, ever. Like, ever. Which is just, it's weird that you can be down 30-0 in a game, lose the game. I reckon that they might even take more confidence out of this than the Roosters, to be honest.
Well, any half of footy where the opposition has 71% of the foot, like, that's never going to happen again. Or not never, but the chances of an opposition having 71% of the possession in the first half, like, I haven't seen that stat outside of the Tigers game in the second half. I haven't seen that stat in ages. So if they, and it's just like even little things like the Sam Walker try that, like, ricocheted, landed in his lap, scores. Like, if he doesn't score that, all of a sudden it's probably 24-all and we're game on. Stag situation, I've seen some people complain about it. That's 10 in the bin every day of the week. Like,
Yeah.
you can't be chopping blokes to the back of the head.
So frustrating though. Like, that's the sort of stuff, like, you guys were throwing him up for Origin chat. He's been so good. It's like, you do stuff like that, it's like, it's just going to cost you.
Especially as a leader. Like, as a leader, you can get away with stuff like that as a as a teenager or a young in your early 20s as a hothead, but Stags he's been one of our best for so long now. He's been such a leader, absolute brain explosion. I got to say though, Victor Radley getting no charge, like, mate, what the hell?
Great viewing, watching him find out that he hadn't been charged live on Fox League as well. He's like, what? Oh, really? Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about here? He landed on the back of Karapani's leg, and Karapani went off injured.
Yeah, I can't make sense of any of the hip drop stuff at the moment, to be honest. I don't know if are we only my tinfoil hat theory is that because everyone's taught now to catch up top and smaller bodies lose the contact, then they end up in a position where you're swinging around the back as opposed to say 15 years ago when it was like your first point of contact, you're aiming for the stomach or whatever. You're less likely to end up in a position where you hip drop. But you see some of them, like, yeah, I watched the Radley one. I thought that's a fair enough sin bin. No sin bin. Then you see other ones where you're like, it's an accident. His legs hit the ground before he hits the guy. The guy's not injured. It's a sin bin. I'm just
It's
like,
quite clear they're only really enforcing it when Api Coruscant does it. Cost the Tigers.
But like, I'd argue, Nikorima's one on Kenny. I'd argue the Radley one was worse.
I think, and that's where, and you always say you can't take away the human element of if you see someone get really badly injured, it's going to obviously impact your decision. But if Kenny didn't get so badly injured there,
it wasn't even a penalty.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a penalty, but it wasn't intended.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And but then again, like as you said, Karapani had to leave the field.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And then like I know people say, oh, what about the Tolte one? But Tolte didn't land on the back of he landed on the ground first.
Yes.
And so like that's the difference, and that's why it was only a penalty. So. Yeah, like the consistency just isn't there. Like I'm actually okay with him not getting 10 in the bin, like because it wasn't the worst hip drop in the world. And like in the moment, like I personally think that has been 10 in the bin, but sometimes in the moment, whatever happens, he doesn't go 10 in the bin. But for them to not charge him after all the like footage, there's no pressure of time or anything. And then he obviously the two head highs as well. Like it's just bizarre. Like I don't know, the head high shouldn't contribute and they don't, but I'm just saying like, I don't know. It's just bizarre to me. I'm sure if you're sitting there right now with Api Coruscant not playing, going, what the hell?
Yeah, I am sitting there like that right now. Believe me.
But anyway, back to the Broncos. Like, obviously, that the first half, not good. But when you consider how many players we got out as well, when you consider how gutsy they were to get back into it, I'm pretty happy with it. I really am. I think that they've been up and about for a few weeks. I think the story of the game, again, is Duffy.
Unbelievable.
Like, mate, this guy, this is the second time he's come on and been phenomenal. And so, like, all of a sudden, the depth in a key position where you got Ben Hunt wanting to be re-signed, Reynolds retiring, then you've got Pezzett arriving. Like, mate, every minute I watch Duffy, the more I get excited about what is this guy's potential. And when he got signed to the club, I couldn't believe the Cowboys let him go. We're talking about a guy that at the start of last year was their best 7 at the club. And then halfway through the year, he's gone. Like, how does that work? How do you become the best 7 at the club to get round 1 and then you're gone? But when we signed him, I was like, mate, I love that signing. And I think Duffy, for me, he is so exciting to watch. I really cannot wait to see him develop as a half. He's silky as anything. What do you have? 2 or 3 try assists?
They had 2 try assists. And then on the Ricky try, where I believe it was either Mam or Walsh that put Ricky through, he sort of dug into the line. So he had a hand in it. Dug in, played out the bub. He had 2 direct try assists himself. He also kicked 4 from 4, which were like, for them to come back from 30-0 was pretty important. And they weren't all gimmies. Like, there was a couple tough kicks. So I think he's definitely put himself on the radar in terms of, you spoke about what they're going to do next year. I reckon he's put himself front and centre there. Like, and
he seems to work really well with Walsh because that's the key. You need to make sure that they work well together. But yeah, in regards to some of the performance, I thought Ezra was really quiet. I think we need more out of Ezra in those games. I know he was great last week, like really good, but just a bit quiet. Shibasaki for me, he's been nowhere near the Shibasaki of last year.
Yeah.
Definitely needs to improve.
A little bit quiet for sure. Hasn't quite been where he got to last year. Pat Carrigan, I thought, had a very good game. Though. Got off the nudie run as well, which doesn't happen every day for Pat Carrigan, so congrats to him. But
it's devastating for everyone else. But yeah.
Devastating for everybody else, exactly. Got to think of those people. But Pat Carrigan, I thought, very good. And also, someone who's really stepped up. He's been good even when Haas was out there, but Xavier Willison through the middle. Like,
beast.
He is stepping up, relishing the fact that he's got to take a bit more ownership and hell of a player there because, that's going to be the case a little bit more next year, obviously, when Haas goes. But pumps out big numbers, huge body. Makes a real dent in the line. So he's had a great couple of weeks.
Yeah, you said Carrigan. When I was looking at it, 41 tackles, 0 missed. Now, when you think about, like, that's impressive anyway. When you look at how much they got absolutely railed through the middle in the first half, to not have missed a single tackle that whole time is fucking insane.
And running for like 150 plus meters as well.
100%.
So look, obviously you don't want to put 30 in the first half, but you know things weren't going their way. I'm happy with the last month of footy of the Broncos. I think they're really brave and gutsy. Hopefully when we've got our full strength back, we can play the Roosters again and we can kind of measure where we're at. Alrighty, it's time for the Knights defeating the Rabbitohs in an absolutely crazy clash, 42-38. And I got to be honest, I am not a fan of high-scoring games, but there was just something about this game that was so entertaining, so enjoyable to watch. So it's our KO can't miss moment. It is the Knights v the Rabbitohs, especially towards the end there. That try from Latrell Mitchell, my God, unbelievable stuff. So guys, round 10 is here. What a year so far. One of the biggest talking points are the Doggies. They play the Dolphins on Thursday night, which should be, you can watch on KO. Roosters fans, your next 3 games will be exclusively live to KO. Exclusive live to Fox League, starting with this Friday night against the Titans. Watch all 3 Super Saturday NRL games exclusively live on Fox League, included with KO, which is Dragons v Knights, Rabbitohs v Sharks, Seagulls v Broncos. It's a huge one for the Knights, Seagulls and Broncos fans. The next 4 Knights games, the next 3 Seagulls games, and the next 3 of the 4 Broncos games will all exclusively be on Fox League Live. Then on Sunday, we've got Storm v Tigers, live only on Fox League, then Raiders versus Panthers. Remember that the only place you can watch every game of every round live this season with no ad breaks during play is Fox League, available on KO. But let's get into it, shall we? The Knights v the Rabbitohs. So the Knights open up, and I'm sitting here going, okay, they are serving an absolute masterpiece to their audience, and it's going to be a long, long day for Rabbitohs. Rabbitohs haven't turned up. They're looking complacent. And then all of a sudden, some tries, late tries in the first half, and you're going, oh, okay. And then you look up, and it's like, oh, my God, the game's actually back on, a little bit similar-ish to the Roosters and the Broncos. And then that last 20 minutes was just craziness, absolute craziness. That is like one of the better finishes I've seen in a very long time, especially when you consider how high-scoring it was. What do you think of this game?
Yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well. It was crazy. I sort of thought going in that Newcastle would really put on a show. I thought KP would come in sort of like a kid who's just been given lollies by his mum too late at night and just going bananas.
What lollies are doing, Redskins or?
I reckon like Redskins, sour straps as well.
Ooh, sour
anything
straps.
that has like the little white bit on the outside, you know, like the
Trolley worms.
Trolley worms, 100%. That sort of stuff.
Jesus.
Big bag of trolley worms. I thought he played like he'd had a big bag of trolley worms. But,
Zappos?
Zappos as well. Absolutely.
Jeez, good stuff.
The list goes on.
He looked unbelievable. I thought Dylan Brown, like he carried the ball really well too, and they just look like a different team. Obviously with the attack, but the energy that Kalen brings during breaks in play. So whenever they get like a little good result or there's an error, he's the first guy in there either celebrating or picking guys up, which I thought you could tell the energy was a lot better. Thought their middle started really well with the ball, but then, obviously they sort of fell away during that middle period. But big credit to them. We said they had to win this game in terms of being 3 on the trot prior. So come back and win after they fell behind. It's a credit to them.
I wouldn't say season-defining win for the Knights, but they desperately needed a win like this just to get that confidence back. Like they started the year so well, and you could see there was like a little cracks in the armour, and just to get all the troops back and get the win the way they did. Hammy, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very highly entertaining game, massive sort of shootout. One of the more entertaining games of the season. I thought Latrell was going to get the boys on his back, and nearly did at the end of the game. Nearly kind of clawed it back for the Rabbitohs. But you know, the Knights. It's great to see. Yeah, finally KP and Dill Brown back in the team. They did a pretty good job, especially in those early rounds, kind of managing without him. But just noticing the quality and the changing gear they had, having both those guys back in the team. Exciting times for Knights fans. Hell of a game. Good on the Knights for hanging on, but could set them up to make a bit of a charge back into the 8.
What do you reckon, Matty?
I rate the Knights. I think they're good. I know their defense yesterday was horrendous. Like every time South got down there, they walked a try over. But to be fair, like they had half their team pretty much come back this game, and I thought Ponga was like a few years ago. You'd keep your eyes on Ponga, and he'd be sniffing around the ruck, but he'd really pick and choose when he wants to get involved. the way he's played this year, like this fullback that's kind of hybrid, playing a hybrid halfback role in attack, he's so involved and he's so threatening. I know he's only played 3 games, but pretty much every minute he's been on the field this year so far, he's been absolutely unbelievable. I really think that he probably won't be in Dally M calculations because he missed so many games, but I reckon Ponga's going to be one of the best players in the comp this year just because of how involved he's getting in their attack. And I love it so much.
And he has like troops as well to get around him too, whereas like there's been years where they've been a bit shallow in depth in it, but like the team's actually, like you've got Trey Mooney stepping up, Saifidi stepping up, like there's actually something to, like you've got Dylan Lucas on one edge who's, you know, basically origin level. Like he's got weapons to work with. Marju, Young, Bradman Best, Dane Gagai, like it's not a bad side.
Nah, and Trey Mooney, like there's a lot of chat at the start of the year about him getting his crack in NRL consistently, and people sort of said if he can hold his own, like, you know, it'll go a long way to them being competitive. He's completely exceeded my expectations of how he's been performing. Like, I mean, to score a double on the weekend and, you know, off the back of push, but still, it was fantastic. Yeah. I also thought the most telling play of the game for both sides, I'm going to wrap Latrell here as well, like that last play of the game, Latrell's obviously called, it was almost like a touch football play. He's obviously called for the ball where he's played the ball and reloaded.
Yep.
Dummy halves jumped out and he threw himself at that try line, like threw himself. And there was, I reckon, at least 6 bodies in the picture.
6 bodies. If there was 5 bodies, he probably scored.
100%.
When he took that tackle before, I thought, shit, like there's going to be one play left and he's not going to be able to be part of it. But to get up and like put himself in a position to have another crack at it,
was mad.
Yeah, freak. And, you know, he came this close to leveling it up. And I mean, he definitely would have gone back and just kicked that from the sideline to win it.
Of course he would. Like, what about so he scores that try, steamrolling Kalen Ponga, and then just nails it from the sideline.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the TV caught this, but I was in the corner, and it was some of the most enjoyable 20 minutes of my life just watching what was going down, including, I'm sure we'll talk about it, the very controversial try South scored. That happened right in front of me as well. Like, everything just happened in that corner. It was fantastic. But I don't know if the TV caught this. After Latrell scored that try, he was down for like 2 minutes.
He was.
He was like just completely fucked, like must have been fully winded. And then he just gets up and nails it. And like Latrell's goal kicking this year hasn't been that great. Like he missed a lot of goals last week. He missed a couple. He had an absolute Barry, one of them earlier in the game. But then of course, he's so winded and he just nails that one. Yeah, he's a freak.
Wrong side too, like as a left footer.
Yeah.
Mate, the amount of times they were just spinning the ball to him, and Gags, unfortunately, was just getting that big right-hand finger in the chest. Oh, my God.
Mate, when he scored that try, like, you could feel, like, it was Kalen Ponga, right? I've never experienced something like that. I've actually experienced once in my life, and unfortunately, it was an illegal hit when Dean Young got absolutely smoked by Greg Inglis. It's the only other time I've been at a ground live where I've felt a collision while sitting in the grandstand, and I felt that with Latrell and Ponga. It was, I'm not even kidding. I walked away from that game like with a big smile on my face, even though South lost. It was one of the most enjoyable watches of my entire life.
And fair play to KP for putting he put everything into that.
Threw himself at him,
literally everything, and Latrell, like, mate, like, he is just on another level. Now, I want to put my hand up because, like, so the controversial try. I'm in the minority. I didn't think it was controversial at all. I thought that Cody Walker had his hand on it first, had control of it all the way to his body. I didn't see, unless the rules are like you're not allowed to touch the ball while someone else is touching the ball. Like, he got his hand on it first and brought it in first. Like, so I got no issue with it.
Was it just like, it's just simultaneous? Is that?
I don't know.
But it wasn't simultaneous. So like he touched it first, and so he's got it in his hand like that, bring it towards, and then Dufty is touching it now, and then it goes like that.
Yeah, but are they saying that he's controlled it the whole time? You know what I mean? Like, is it more about his control of it as opposed to...
it never left his grips. So it's like it never left his palm.
Well, that's what I thought. That's why it took me a second when you were like, oh, controversial trials. Like, which bit? Because
there's a lot of people that say it was like terrible call, shocking call.
I reckon if it doesn't leave his hand, the fact that a defender puts his hand in the way, like if he hasn't lost control of it, I don't think he should be penalised for that. Like, that makes sense to me.
It's a try. It's a try.
I think it should be a try.
But like, it just looks ugly. But Cody Walker never loses it.
His hand touches it first, draws it to his body. What do you reckon, Hammy? Are we in the minority or?
No. I thought the way that Tom put it was probably sums it up. The fact that he didn't bobble it or anything like that. As soon as the hand probably comes away from it, it's like, oh, there you go. There's your little bit of separation. Yet you've lost control of it. But the fact that he had it the whole time, I I was happy with it.
Yeah.
It's so unique though. Like you just never really see
situation.
it. And I get why people would think. To be fair, live I thought it was because it happened right in front of me. I was like, oh, this is getting taken back because Duffy's holding it and Cody rips it out. But yeah, it's not what happened.
But yeah, what a game. What an absolute game. Alrighty, guys, in regards to some performances, we've spoken about KP. Marju, I thought, was outstanding.
Yeah.
He's just a beast, man. Like, some of those tries that he scored, like, it gets lost in the noise because of Latrell's try. There was a try where Marju, like, ran over 4 people.
There was a few sort of different style ones. There was ones where he was like, ran over 4 people. Ones where it took a little bit of finesse, kind of like picking his moment to kind of step back inside. None of them were easy. So I thought he had a hell of a game. Big, strong unit as well. Like some very strong carries. But yeah, nice hat trick for him. I thought Greg Marju was outstanding.
Who else stood out for you, mate?
From the Knights, obviously Dylan Lucas. Like to have him back, he really made his presence known. Like obviously scored a double, ran for 100 meters as well. And then also, KP will get a lot of the noise, and Dillbags has been back for a couple of weeks, but the way he runs the ball, like he had 4 offloads. You know what I mean? Like he just, when he takes the line on, and he always just looks, it's not the same as Munster, but it's a similar sort of brand in terms of just when he sort of takes the line on, you just assume he's going to either get an offload or at least one tackle break, or he squares them up so much, which I think is important when you're not stacked with middles there. So. I thought the 2 Dylans were fantastic. Yeah,
Dylan Brown's an interesting one because, like, you're right. The Kalen Ponga is kind of overshadowing Dill Brown at the moment. But even last week against the Panthers, it was Dylan Brown's line break that, like, made it a competitive game. And in regards to running game, he is one of the best running halves in the competition. Big, powerful, strong. So super interesting that they've. I wonder whether Holbrook had a say in the recruitment, or they got Holbrook to try to make this weird spine work, because I kind of feel like Holbrook, being such a good attacking coach, is one of the few coaches that could make this strange hybrid kind of. Kalen Ponga comes in at 7 at times, but then he gets out and 2 pass wide. It seems to be kind of working at the moment.
Yeah.
It seems to be working.
It just feels like a bit of a case of, like, if Kalen wants the ball, just give it to him. Like, it's a bit of a unique position. Yeah, he's got the number 1 on his back, but he plays a bit of a 7 sometimes, plays a bit of fullback. It is a little bit unorthodox, but I think that's what makes him such a tough team to play. Like, you got a lot of very talented ball players in there. Where are they going to kind of come at you from? Like, there's a lot of spark there. And, yeah, he was very exciting to see Kalen back yesterday.
He must be a great coach, though, because it would make sense. The way people talk about the Roosters spine, it would make sense to talk about the Knights spine like that on paper when you look at it. And people did in the preseason. But not only is it working, like when they're all on the field, it's humming. Yeah. Like, I don't know another team in the comp that has guys like Bradman Best and Kalen Ponga a couple of times on the weekend. Yesterday. They got the ball inside 40, and it's like, it's one missed tackle, they're gone. Yeah. Like normally you can cover that. One guy drops off a tackle, they can sort of scramble well enough. Like that try that he set up for Dill Lucas, KP, like Humphreys went low on him, missed him, lights out, gone. Yeah. Bradman did something similar in the second half on the other side. Like it was crazy. Yeah, so great win for the Knights. Like they can, now the start of the year means a lot more because it's like, okay, this is the standard of footy we can play. They get all their boys back. So I tell you what, like with how poor some teams are going, maybe they could make a charge for the 8. Like why not?
Yeah, well, especially with all these guys coming back, like they're
got
best.
Eels underperforming, got Dogs underperforming.
Oh, I think they will. I really like Newcastle.
Yeah,
their defense, as I said, their defense yesterday was bad, but they got to fix it. But seriously, like they're a good team.
You know what's hard though? Like I thought their middle defense was quite poor yesterday, especially in the second half. But they conceded a lot of their tries on that edge. You look at who the other edge is, and they were on. And it's sort of hard to criticise them too much for that. Like I don't think they're going to come up against too many other sides with an edge like that. You know what I mean? So I think...
And a switched on Latrell, ready to rip.
Yeah, we're about 3 weeks out from Origin selection, Latrell.
Yeah. And he's like running over 300 people at a time. But that's the thing. I think they will be able to be close to the 8 at least, because they're not going to come up against a side like that. But the way that they blew them off the park in the first half, that's going to be relevant against pretty much every side outside of the 3 main contenders we've been speaking about. So, yeah, I think they definitely can for sure.
On to the Rabbitohs. Just let the game probably get away from them too much at the start of the game. And, look, they were running downhill towards the end of the game, but they just didn't get off the bus. Like, the amount of errors, I couldn't believe it. What do you reckon, Matty?
56% at halftime. Diabolical. Horrendous. Jackie Whiten breaking his arm was tough. Very, very bad first half.
Just the worry I have for the Rabbitohs is like they have to fix this kind of weird complacency up and down. Like 1 week great, next week complacent, or at least look complacent, because it'll come back to bite them. If this keeps happening, they might go on a bit of a form run, but in finals footy, it will come back to bite them. So they just need to find a way to close the gap between their best and their worst game, because how do you go from last week's unbelievable performance to then rolling out that first half like that? They just got to find a way to fix it.
Well, I get, losing Bronson and Jack, not ideal. Not a single one of their forwards ran for over 100 metres, which, against the good sides, you're just never going to be able to compete. And as I said before, it's a credit to them to have fought back into the game. But at the same time, even though Jack went off, 6 of the 7 tries the Knights scored were down the Rabbitohs' right edge, which is a little bit concerning. It's the one edge. Like, you think a lot of their points came from the other side that they were scoring. So to be letting in all the tries down that edge is a little bit concerning.
Yeah. Yeah, so at what point did Jackie Whiten came off?
Yeah.
They score up most of their tries. Well, they scored from the get-go, really.
From the start, they were on.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can pin it solely on that. Maybe that amplified it a bit, but it was
They
all...
scored
it was,
3 and then 10 minutes after he went off.
I will say, that right side's actually been outstanding for South, if I recall correctly.
well, last week they were,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's hard though. Like 6 tries is a lot.
Yeah,
and obviously you're going up against some pretty good talent there, but...
I just reckon we should just put Campbell Graham there. Like, Tallis Duncan is proving to be one of the best back rows in the comp. Just let him stay there.
Yeah.
That was an error, I think.
And then at half time he put Tougher on,
Yeah.
and then he moves Campbell Graham in. Yeah, because if you put Campbell Graham there, let's say they get 1 from 3, potentially.
Yeah, and
Instead of
that
3
could be
tries.
the difference.
Yeah,
Because he's a gun defender.
and shocked me when they actually did make that change, that they fought their way back into the
Yeah,
game.
exactly right.
Yeah, I just think that the forward thing's concerning though as well, to not have run for against a side where they're sort of known for not being that strong through the middle. You need to be sort of getting a lot more out of your guys there. I
I
found
thought
that
Keon
weird.
was all right.
He was, but like to not have a single one of them run for over 100 metres. I just thought it was a bit-
Keon ran over 100
Oh,
metres.
did he get over?
But
Sorry,
he's
he's the only one. Yeah,
no,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
him and Aiken. Aiken 103 and him 150, but everyone
But
else.
none of their middles, eh?
Well, I think did Keon come on through the middle?
He changed into the
He's
middle
switching.
during
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
But yeah, middles. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I should have clarified middles. Which I think you just need a bit more out, especially like we saw Kepi score through the front door. And I think he's been playing pretty good the last few weeks.
Kevy's been awesome.
Yeah.
He's been
So
really good.
I think they just need more meters out of those guys as well. But yeah,
Geez, Cheese getting injured for a month's a big loss.
Oh, that hurts.
Far out.
Poor old Cheese.
Far
Every
out.
time he gets back in,
Yep.
week or 2 in.
Just how do you prevent it? Do you lose a few kegs of muscle mass just to so the soft tissue isn't going?
I don't know because he's looking fit.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. For sure.
yeah, it's so frustrating. But
What about Alex Johnson? 8 in a row now. Fuck. The ability to 8 games in a row he scored a try. He's only done that once before.
someone said to me, and I can't believe I hadn't thought of this, but they said to me yesterday, they're like, we were watching it and he scored, and they were like, oh, he's broken the record again. And every time they're making the joke every time he scores the try.
Please stay off the field.
Hey? Yeah, every time. Can you imagine?
Those kind of jokes are like, they're funny initially, and then they're not funny for ages, but then they become funny again if you just keep doing it for longer.
Well, I think he got lucky because I was one of the only people that hadn't thought of that yet. So he got a laugh out of me, so he probably kept doing it.
I'm the same cloth as the
I think the John Cena, you can't see me joke, where it's like every time there's a photo of John Cena, they're like, there's a photo of nobody.
Yeah.
That's been funny for 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I
It's
was
just
just
a bit like that.
covered the same cloth as 6'7", which is it started off funny, then it kind of lost it, but people still keep doing it, and
Just low hanging fruit
people
that'll
get laughing at it.
get you laugh.
Yeah,
What happened there at the end with Cody Walker? Like, I don't know what Phoenix Crossland...
Phoenix Crossland was getting in Latrell's face.
Did he get, he stood over him a little bit.
I think he was more just celebrating the win, wasn't he? Like it wasn't.
Wasn't like leaning down like...
To Latrell's credit, he left like it was a pile of bodies. Like I think he was just stoked that they won. I think he yelled at him a little bit, but Cody's known for that. But he's pretty passionate, pretty aggressive. Like
I don't know if it warranted.
it went on for a long time though. But he was still, I don't know if you saw this at the game, but on coverage, they kept following him around and he was still going.
He was.
Oh, really?
A lot of the boys that he's obviously mates with, like from the other team, was sort of like, yeah, all good, brah. But it was whoever it was, I don't know if it was Phoenix or someone else, but he just kept going. Like it was.
Yeah.
Like I'd get a little push maybe, but it went for a while.
Oh,
It went
yeah,
for a
like-
while. I love the fact Tallis Duncan, he was ready to go. Fucking hell.
I love the first guy Tallis went at was Trey Mooney,
Yeah.
the biggest dude on the field.
It's so
Man,
good.
I love Tallis
Do you
Duncan.
reckon Laurie just started writing down a few of his selections when you saw that? That was Origin.
So,
I don't know.
Yeah, look, Cam Murray, I mean, every time he comes on the field, like he's a different side, literally. Every time he comes on. But yeah, look, entertaining game.
It was.
Okay, on to the next game.
Not an entertaining game, this one.
Very entertaining.
Such an entertaining game.
Oh, yeah.
Only if you're a sicko.
Don't kink shame me.
Yeah, I will. If you said you enjoy this game, I'm prepared to be king shamed. Yeah.
Okay, Sharkies absolutely pulverized, clapped the cheeks of the Tigers. The cheeks were clappeth by the Sharks.
Clappeth, beautiful.
Oh, holy shit. Have you ever seen a Tiger that's cheek clapped? Go and watch that game.
Yeah, no, it was the first time it's come across my desk, but I'm happy with it.
Oh, don't king shame me. 52-10. Look, the first half was fine. The second half was some of the most diabolical stuff I've ever seen in my life from the Tigers.
Great time to give a little plug to a market at Sportsbet here. The 50-point curse. Any team to concede 50 or more and still win the 2026 competition. Are we going to see some history here this year? I think we might be. $10. You win some, you lose more. Go and copy that off my feed profile.
Oh, you've got it on your feed?
It's on the feed.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Oh, my
United
God.
front in response to one of the great poundings all time.
Yeah.
I like it.
One of the great, like the worst. Like,
Gotta
what are
get on the
your
front
thoughts
foot.
on that second half?
Got to get on the front.
There was like two
Just the
platables.
second half? I thought the first half was not great as well. Second half, not good. Yeah, some pretty lackluster defence. Another young winger put under the blowtorch, unfortunately.
Nice.
You know, when it gets away from you early, especially when you're young or whatever, you give a few clues to crafty halves, which the Sharks have got, and they just kept going there. And unfortunately, poor old Tavana wasn't able to rein it in, so a little bit of a tough afternoon for him. On that right side as well, which is where the Sharks had a lot of their joy.
Oh, my God.
Poor old Stafford Toa, probably not his best day at the office there defending.
They smelt blood and just went there constantly.
They were too smart. They just kept going that way the whole time. Obviously, we had KPP out as well, so Tony Suko comes in. Three guys who don't play a lot of football together out on that one side, and they just went to town on us, unfortunately. And, you know, what do you say? It was a really disappointing result. I felt like I was watching the Tigers from like 2023, not this new iteration of the Tigers where there's a bit of grit. In fact, we've been one of the best defensive teams in the comp, but a lot of injuries, a lot of players out of position or whatever. But you know, you can't really use that as an excuse when 50 points gets run up. It was pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I can't believe the stat. I think the stat was like 2 play the balls or 3
I've
play the balls.
got got some of those very embarrassing stats that kind of came up probably halfway through the second half. This is in the second half, 95% territory to 5% territory. 46 tackles for the Sharks in the opposition half. Tigers had 2 tackles in the opposition half. 26 tackles in the opposition 20 for the Sharks, none for the Tigers. Runs in the second half. Sharks at whatever point this was, 100 runs to 41, 1,034 run meters to 273. So it was just every stat there.
I've never heard that before.
Obliterated.
Yeah.
That's a clapping. Yeah.
That is a clapping.
It is.
Of the highest order.
For them to, use the Tiger clap against us like that, highly disrespectful.
The Tiger clap as well?
Yeah. 1 week after we'd used it.
Oh, that's the footy gods getting you. Stop being so rude.
Yeah.
Stop being so rude, mate.
Sadly-
Swearing at footy games, disgraceful behaviour last
Yeah.
week.
Who was
against the
leading?
Raiders.
Who was leading the Tiger clap?
Yeah. Friend of the show, Matty G, I believe. In charge there. But, yeah, like Icarus, unfortunately, we flew too close to the sun and we got a little bit burned on the weekend, but that's okay. 50-point curse. Can the Tigers break it this year?
Is that the Tiger clap or are they getting their cheeks clapped?
Yeah, the Tigers were getting clapped. I think they were just trying to get in on the fun
It was
rather
kind
than
of
with the
hard
butt of
to
the
tell on
joke.
broadcast, but yeah. Oh, boy.
Oh, fucking hell, man. From a Sharks perspective, I just loved how ruthless they were. Like, they were ruthless as anything. Usually, like, not usually, but sometimes the Sharks, if I'm critical of them, they're not ruthless enough. Like, they get a lead and then they start playing a bit of footy and having a bit of fun. You could tell that Fitzgibbon put a rocket up during the week. He wasn't happy last week at all. And they were absolutely They were ruthless. They smelt blood in the water. That right defensive edge, after Dewey went off, like they just knew we just need to keep going. KPP's not there as well. Rookie winger. We are going there all day, and it was just nightmare stuff. I thought Trindle and Hines, one of their best games together this year easily. I thought Kennedy was outstanding as well. Just a ruthless performance. Wilton with his 3 tries. Exactly what the Sharkies needed. Exactly what they needed.
Yeah, the halves did a terrific job of going at Tavana right from the start. Like even before Dewey went off, like they were just hammering him all day with contestable kicks. And yeah, it's hard because sometimes you'll see teams go away from it. They're not doing it out of mercy, obviously. Like they're just trying other things, but they just went at him all day, and it just meant that they got so many back-to-back attacking opportunities. I thought KL Ero was outstanding as well.
Yep.
But yeah, obviously big week for the Tigers, and I don't know if that sort of played a role on top of other injuries. Like to be honest, when Dewey scored pretty easily, so I sort of thought, we could have a game on here. And then when he left, they just kept going at that same edge with the kicks, and just they were getting a lot of good ball very easily. And I think they made them pay to the most extreme extent. Like I think I'll put it this way: the Sharks had to be outstanding to get that many points out of the game. I think there was every chance that had they not been as clinical as they were, could have easily been like a 30-10 sort of game. But they just did not stop. They executed everything. Jesse Colquhoun as well, 15 runs, 158 metres. Thought he was great. Teague Wilton scoring 3 tries. Like to have 2 guys score a hat trick there is just brutal.
That is brutal. Were they both on that edge? Left edge?
Left.
Ero's left?
Yep.
Yeah, Ero's left, and I think Teague is as well.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that's tough. That's tough.
was.
What do you think about the Sharks, mate?
Sharks, yeah, very impressive. I mean, you've kind of touched on most of the guys that played well there. I think the smarts of the halves to just keep going that way and keep putting the young guys under pressure. Hats off to them. They exploited that really well. Kale Ero just had spiders on him. Probably he was the beneficiary of, when they kept going that way the whole time. I thought he was really strong as well. Just everyone had a good, a little bit of a field day. Blake Brayley, I thought he was very crafty around the ruck as well. Kind of helped those halves get going. But, there's not really any Sharks players that you'd say had a bad game or a Barry. They were all on. And unfortunately, there's a lot of Tigers who were not on. A couple of injuries and whatever in play as well, which didn't help our cause. But, the Sharkies, after a disappointing result up in Townsville last week, they were firing in this one, and they all had a big day out.
Mate, I tell you who goes all right every time he comes in is Hiroti. Like, I really like Hiroti when he comes in. They've got such good depth in the outside backs. Kennedy over 200 metres, 207, 75 post contact, 4 tackle breaks. Sam Stone Street I thought was good as well. Interesting they've moved Talakai back into the centres. Like, I guess like because they've got a young guy coming through, if I recall correctly. Maybe he's injured, but I felt like they moved away from Talakai in the centres a while ago, but yeah, he's back in the centres. Nico Hines and Trindle, like sometimes you watch them and you just are reminded how important it is to have halves that have played a lot of footy together, because they're just so in sync. Like they're just so in sync with each other when it works for them.
Yeah, 100%. It's also hard when you're when you talk about the Talakai thing. Like, I think he's playing centre at the moment because they're so spoilt for choice in the back row. And I think like he actually looks pretty fit at the moment. Yeah. And I think, given he's leaving next year, it's probably the best spot for him right now relative to the team. Because those other two guys, like you got Nakura there, and then
Wilton,
the hat-trick hero.
Billy Burns.
Which one? Sorry.
Billy Burns on the bench as well. Yeah, well, exactly. Now Wilton. So, yeah, I think they're a hard team to read though, because I think they're still so inconsistent in terms of the gap between when they're on. Like yesterday, you watched them thinking they'd beat anyone. Then against the Cows, like it was worlds apart.
They just got to find that consistency. But this is a good step in the right direction. I thought Adam Fnor-Blake at the back end of the game he was a bit quiet at the start of the game, but then when you actually towards the back end of the game, you really pick things up. He's a guy that's been relatively quiet this year, I reckon, AFB.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'd even argue like maybe the back end of last year he was a bit like, is he carrying an injury? I think last year he was carrying an injury, but this year he definitely, eventually he kicked into gear. He ended up running for 192 metres, but yeah, like he's been a bit quiet, especially considering like Origins around the corner. He could get selected. Purely on form, you could make the argument, like this year's form, you could make the argument that he shouldn't get selected for the Blues.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he's got a resume much longer than just this year, but yeah, he's been a little bit quiet this year.
Yeah, he has, but crazy that you can kick into gear and still run for 192 metres.
Mental.
I think, he probably falls victim to the standards he's set so high. But also, like, there's a lot of guys in that pack that also want a lot of ball too. I actually took notes on the game, like, I thought live, first 10, 15 minutes, I actually put down that I thought that the Tigers pack was super physical in the early exchanges. Like, I thought they were good, which obviously the way the game panned out didn't count for much, but I really do think the kicking aspect really got the Sharks on top in a way that was very hard to get out of. Like, when you're defending so hard, and I really did, like, I think if you were to go back and watch the first 10 minutes, you'd notice the Tigers were on physically through the middle. But then you put so much effort in, and then one of the guys at the back drops the ball or they get the ball back. It's just very deflating. Like, my boy Alex Twal, 62 tackles in a team that got absolutely pounded.
Yeah.
The GOAT.
Get around him.
Brutal.
Like, talk about a culture player. Like, he is just so good. So even in attack, he still ran for 88 metres, 62 tackles. He had 3 offloads, 3 tackle breaks. Like, he's just like, you can build club around that bloke. He is such a fucking good player. 63 tackles plus he nearly ran for 100 metres. Usually if you've got 60 tackles, you've got like no runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, far out. So look, really good for the Sharks. This is exactly the performance they needed. Anything on is it a little bit concerning, I guess, the depth? I mean, you got Skelton there. Why didn't...
That's one thing we were talking about on Wheel It or Draw this morning. Like, what has he done to Benji? Because there's been a few times this season where he's been named, and then on the day, like, oh no, there's a, Luke Laulili's going to play, or Tavana's going to play, and at the last minute he's been kind of rubbed out. He had not his best game maybe against the Rabbitohs at the start of the year, dropped 1 or 2 high balls, but the game before against the Cowboys, he came on as a bit of cover for Taruva. Played for 60 minutes and ran 240 metres. Like, I think at the moment, like, we just need a bit of experience out there. I think we've got to stop putting young guys out there. Obviously, Benji knows better than me, but let's just get a couple of experienced campaigners out there. Might drop 1 or 2 high balls, but it's not going to ruin their whole day if they do. They're going to have enough kind of runs on the board to bounce back, still give you plenty of run meters and all that sort of stuff as well. He's a great player, Jarrell Skelton, so I'm with you. I can't really work out why he's not getting a run at the moment.
Well, I think, for all the positive that Benji, new age coach, believing in young players, I think that maybe a few of the selections have just like, he's gone too far down that route of like, wanting to give players an opportunity and like really, really backing them in. And like, there's a reason why there's an age-old saying you could have 2 players, or an age-old kind of belief. You can have 2 players. One's played 100 NRL games. This guy's a rookie. He's playing a little bit better, but this guy's played 100 NRL games. You know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And I think Benji might have lent a little bit too far into, if you're good enough, you're old enough, and not more into this guy's played NRL. He knows what's going on.
Yep.
Is Makasini injured?
Well, yeah, he was sitting there yesterday in his club polo, and I think he's got bone bruising. So I think that's kind of been the story at the moment. So I don't know whether he comes straight back in, but I wouldn't mind seeing Skelton there, and I'd probably maybe Pat Herbert as well to come back in, just a solid defensive centre.
Yep.
Just to make the tackles and shore up that edge a little bit, because we had a train run through it yesterday.
Yep. Trying to think what else in regards to Dewey gone.
Yeah.
Shit.
Poor bloke. I mean, he can't take a trick, can he? Like, every season there's a couple, just when he's probably one of the form players of the comp as well, and did it in the act of scoring. We were leading 10-6 at that point. We had a little bit of momentum as well. So as soon as he went off, I went, oh, geez. Like, now we've got Appy's not playing. Dream Buller's not out there as well. There's 3 of your 4 starting spine. Doesn't matter which team you are. If that's the case, you're going to be up against it. So, yeah, I think it was just the straw that broke the camel's back on the weekend, losing him as well.
Do they know the severity of it yet? Like,
he was having scans today. Haven't heard anything yet.
It could be the kind of thing with a shoulder where it's like a couple of weeks, could be like a Rico sort of. There's such a scope on it.
Yeah, so looks like it probably is sublux, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. So,
yeah, it sucks, man.
Hopefully it's like as good as it can be. But yeah, it didn't look good.
No.
So the only thing I worry about is like, you don't want those old demons to start. You know what I mean? At the Tigers, you don't want those old habits to kind of creep up on you because you had such a big loss.
Yep.
Like, it's really important that it doesn't necessarily have to win. It's really important they put in a high quality performance next week.
Yep.
Otherwise, you just all of a sudden you're like, oh, are we who we think we are? And you start snowballing and you start pointing fingers. So it's really important they put on a good performance next week.
Melbourne in Melbourne. which is generally a tough road trip. Yes, they've been poor this year, but at what point, like, surely, given the quality that they've got in their team still, can't stay like that forever. So a little bit nervy going down there. I think Melbourne are pretty warm favourites as well, so they'll have their work cut out, but hopefully they can bounce back.
Alrighty, it's time for the last match of the round, 18-16 in this game. And I tell you what, leaving this game, we'll finish watching it. The story, obviously, Panthers getting the win, but the story for me is the Seagulls. Like, they're the real deal. They're the real deal. I cannot believe how well they played. Yeah, okay, that one try, it was an obstruction, but outside of that, like, they were in it up to their eyeballs. If they just had held the ball in the second half, mate, I cannot believe what Foz has managed to do with this side. Like, they are, like, look, maybe they ran out of puff and they're emotionally so up, but right now, how can you not say they're not the real deal?
Yeah, I think it'd be very hard to argue, especially losing Fogarty and having Walsh come in under those circumstances. Like, there's not a bigger stage, really, in terms of the team you're up against to come up against. And not only did he hold his own, he was one of the main guys front and centre leading the whole
thing. Well, he's our
so.
service of the week, baby. Aspley Mazda service of the week is Joey Walsh. What about that? No look. Look out the back, lie with your eyes, hit the front. That's a ball playing. I mean, I know he's a 7 or a 6, but that's a ball playing lock kind of move.
Yeah, that's a ball playing middle if I've ever seen one. And it's all about the subtlety. You know what I mean? Like, you got to tell a lie with your eyes, and then tell the truth with your hands.
Yeah, okay. You're an honest guy off the field, but on the field you can tell a porky.
Yeah, well, you'll be able to tell a lie on the field.
Okay.
I think that was one of the greatest lies of all time. You know what I mean? Like, looking out, bang.
And guys, we didn't want anyone to miss out. So this opportunity right now on Aspley Mazda, any bloke listener who buys a new or used car from Luke Camilleri, the car man, could score a money can't buy experience. A day at the footy at Suncorp Stadium in a corporate box with NRL legends Alex Glenn and Jarrell Yayi. I'll also be there. Luke Camilleri will be hosting it. He'll be there. On top of that, the people that win the prize, so it'll be you and you can bring a friend, Alex Glenn has said he will give you 2 passes into the Broncos locker room. That is right. 2 passes into the Broncos locker room after the game. You truly, money cannot buy this experience, guys. So if you're in the market for a car, any new or used car, shoot Lukey a message and you could have the opportunity and the day that you will never, ever forget. And that's all thanks to Aspley Mazda.
I'd love to know with guys like that. I always think about it. Like, is he going in? Is he nervous, or is he just because he just seems so confident?
He's so confident.
And
some of the, especially in the second half, I feel like the first half he found his feet a little bit. I feel like in the second half, some of the balls he was playing, like, they did that without Fogarty.
Yeah, I know. And also, you know, watching it a couple of times when Panthers hit the lead, or even when Panthers squared up initially, I was like, that's done now, probably.
Yeah, they'll run away with it.
They'd probably go on with this now. That was a great effort, but they go on with this. But they just refused to quit. There was just so much Foz about it. It's crazy.
It's just the only thing I could possibly, because I'm like, my brain's telling me not to believe it because it's so unbelievable. But the only thing I can think of is like maybe they run out of puff towards the back end of the season. But even if they do, like, who gives a shit? It's still a massive win. Like, this is a top 8 side now, and that's coming from a guy that I was hypercritical of the roster in the forwards. Mate, some of these forwards have stepped up unbelievably. Like, Ola Kawatu has gone to a whole new level. Bullymore was great off the bench. Paseka. Tokiaho's also been really good. Then you've got Hetherington. Like, they have just all gone to a whole nother level. I cannot believe it. It's fucking phenomenal. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I mean, a hell of an effort to hang in there. And, you know, they led for a while there against the Panthers as well. I reckon great performance from him yesterday for Joey Walsh. But I reckon this is like a long-term investment performance. Like, you know, to go out there and hold your own against the Panthers and Nathan Cleary and all that sort of stuff. Like, that will do so much for his confidence going forward. Next time he steps into first grade, he'll take a lot out of that. Next time he comes up against Penrith, he'll take a lot out of it as well. He was super impressive.
He made 31 tackles.
Yeah, so they targeted him. You know, they went at him a little bit, but
what a game.
Yeah, I reckon just such an impressive performance. And, you know, yes, they lost the game, but I reckon they can hold their head pretty high.
Mate, massively. And the good thing is, going forward now, Brooks has to be on his best behaviour because Joey Walsh, he's creative enough to be a 6, in my opinion. And so all of a sudden, you've got pressures on the halves. You've got a guy that can be a half for quite a while. Yes, it's one game. Obviously, you know, we need to see more from him. But, mate, he just looks so in control, calm, collected. Yeah, towards the end of the game, there was some issues with the drop goal or whatever. But we see 10-year veterans have issues with drop goals. He was silky, and just the way he played, like the space that he created for his outside men, the time that he had, the fact that he made 31 tackles in his debut and didn't look out of place. Like, Yeah, that's impressive. And look, the one position where you're like desperate to like find a guy that can play well in NRL, it's in the halves. And hopefully for the Manly Seagulls that Joey Walsh can be this guy.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to be the guy. Like, it's hard at the end of a game like that when you're down 2. I don't love the idea of just setting up for a 2-point field goal as your only play. I think you need to be able to. But I didn't mind. You know when he chose to run and they actually skinned them down the right and the Panthers scrambled ball, they covered it.
It was almost like a dummy drop goal.
Yeah, the dummy drop goal, yeah. And like, so he still had some good moments at the back end. And he at least took the game on. It didn't go their way, but I also thought Brooks was phenomenal too.
Yeah.
I thought, and that's always a telling sign if he's bringing the best out of guys around him like that. Yeah, there were some tough decisions to make, I think, because up until now it's been a hypothetical. He's just gone out there against the Panthers and almost fucking beat them. So pressure's on.
Like, do they beat if Fogarty plays? Do they beat him? Like, I mean, it'd be. Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say because of how integral Walsh was.
Yeah, mate, just so good, so good from the Manly Seagulls. Some of the performances. We'll get to Olakau'atu. So 20 runs, 180 metres, 86 post contact, 4 tackle breaks, a line break, 2 offloads, 41 tackles, 0 misses. Like, I can't stress enough, the defence that Manly showed in that second half, like Penrith Panthers usually just roll over teams. That's when they score 4 or 5 tries and you look at the scoreboard and it's like the game seemed close and then in the last 20 minutes they score their tries and then they win by 13 plus. But their defence was just, they've blown me out of the water, Manly. I think that this was I really felt like coming to this game that they probably would stumble. And I was like, coming out of this game, I was like, if they can like lose, even if they lose like 26-12 or something, that's a win for me considering where they're at. And to go down 18-6 when Penrith had all the ball in the second half, it's an outstanding performance. How far they've come in such a short amount of time. Like, it's just, I'm excited for them. I really am. Like, if this is what they can do now, and you know what's crazy? No one has even mentioned Turbo yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. They didn't have their number 1 and their number 7.
Yeah, that's 2 huge outs.
Like, imagine they didn't have Cleary and Edwards.
Yeah, I know. It's insane. You spoke about Hamole. If you had to see the shift in attitude from the playing group, if you had to personify it, it's probably Hamole.
Yeah.
He looks so different to what he did at the start. And like, he wasn't at the start of the year. He wasn't even like, it wasn't like he was necessarily playing poorly. But I don't think you would have seen him make 41 tackles, 0 misses.
No way.
It's the aggression that he's playing with and the effort areas that, because he's a big athletic guy and you're always going to be a big athletic guy. But those other things that he's really starting to bring into his game, like I'm starting to really understand why people are, there's certain people that are throwing him in the chat for Origin conversation and wanting him to be there. Like,
I'll tell you what, if you're an Origin coach, you're looking at that 41 tackles, 0 misses going, that's the look, I know Olakau'atu can attack. Like, I know that he can literally destroy teams. But that 41 tackles, 0 misses on edge, like, that's a good start heading into Origin chat.
Yes, absolutely. The other thing about him there, we know he's great with the ball in his hands, but the fact that he had 20 runs, more runs than any other Manly Seagulls player, like, that's good from the halves. Joey Walsh, Luke Brooks. Get him the pill. Get him involved. That certainly he wasn't as involved at the start of the year, but defending and attacking really well at the moment.
Like, think about how exciting that is for Manly, that they know they've got such a weapon that he can go toe-to-toe with Penrith Panthers. Like, they can spin him the ball, they can get momentum against the Penrith Panthers. Like, most teams in the comp just get completely suffocated by the Panthers. But, yeah, look, I just think from how far they've come, at the start of the year, I had them in the bottom 2, I think, and obviously they sacked their coach. Like, if Foran was the coach from the start of the year, there's no way I'd have them in the bottom 2. But I wouldn't have them in right now. They're trending to land in the top 6 or even top 4. Like, it was only 2-3 weeks ago where I was saying the best they could finish was 7 to 8. Now it's looking like they're being one of the closest teams to Penrith. And again, towards the back end of that second half, like, if they just had held the ball a little bit longer, who knows what would happen.
Yeah, when you have like little moments watching a game where you stop going for your team and you just become a rugby league fan, like when you're watching another game. At halftime, when it cut to the sheds and Foz is sitting on one of those white chairs, like the ones that you can pack away, you've got the boys around him, he's got the whiteboard in front of him on the ground, and he's pointing to the whiteboard, and then he's like getting real animated with the boys. I was just like, this is just fucking the best.
It's rugby league, baby. It's
so
rugby
good.
league. Imagine just Foz walking in, striding through, testosterone through the fucking roof. How high you reckon his test is at the moment?
Like, ridiculously high.
Yeah.
Like, I reckon they would have been testing him his whole career. Just
You know
because they're
what?
like, this doesn't make sense.
Asada went and tested the players, and they said, we need to test your coach too, because that's fucking...
Yeah.
Check that coach.
Yeah, check that coach. His testosterone would be through the roof.
They don't
hot,
even
and
worry about the players. They just go straight for the coach.
Yeah.
It's the only time in
And
history.
you can't blame him, really.
Nah.
Yeah,
Can't blame him.
he's the only... Like, his test actually, when he shakes hands with the boys and that, actually goes into their body. It's like
That would be
the
fantastic.
hand.
cream. It's like the cream stuff.
Yeah.
The drug test is walking in straight to the coach's box. That'd just be unreal.
Mate, I cannot believe what he's achieved. And like now Manly find themselves in a... Manly are so lucky that Foran is such a good guy, because like most other guys would say, this is a business. It's time to strike while the iron's hot and
Fuck
get a
yeah.
fucking huge deal at some club. But because Foran is such a gentleman, I highly doubt he'll put any pressure on the club. And he's so club first that he'll allow them time to be patient. But right now, it's like, you can't afford to let this guy go. Like, I'm not saying 5-year deal or anything like that, but if you're the Manly Seagulls, whatever you have to do to keep this guy in the building to a degree, you pretty much have to do.
I can't believe that, you know, he's achieved what he's achieved. There's so many guys that were ex-players and, you know, such a highly respected reputation as a player. They've been in the wings as a coach for a while, maybe an assistant. I remember watching him on Fox on the Friday night. They just made the decision about Seabold. The next morning, I made a video talking about how it should be a Manly guy. It should be Matt Ballin. And all of a sudden, they've announced that it was Foz. It was so out of left field.
Yeah.
So out of left field. Like, he was only playing last year. So to have not only held his own, but to have him, like you said, they're trending towards the top 4. It's fucking scary. Like, they don't even have Turbo playing. They didn't have their 7. They had a 14-year-old come out and fucking carve up the Penrith Panthers. Like, it's...
What about their recruitment now with Foz at the helm? Like, think about how many people he'll be able to recruit.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, like, it just changes everything. I've got to give the Manly administration, King, this is his first huge call, and he has absolutely nailed it. Nailed it.
beyond belief.
So, you know, great performance from the Seagulls. So close. On to the Penrith Panthers. Definitely not at their best. And that try was, like, we'll talk about the try. Like, that was definitely obstruction. I cannot believe, like, how a guy is in the bunker and he doesn't understand, like, I guess doesn't grasp, or maybe hasn't been taught, I don't know. The fact that if Cleary doesn't get held up, he calls to Alamotti. Alamotti has an extra 2 steps. Then Toto also is released by Alamotti, and it's a 3-on-3 situation. Like, and you might say, oh, they still would have got beaten, but you don't know that. You don't know that. Like, maybe Toto doesn't come in and he throws a cutout ball and Toto intercepts. Like, you don't know. But what I do know is if Cleary is allowed to continue to slide, everything changes. Everything changes. I thought that was crazy they let that obstruction try go.
Well, you saw a couple of tries on the weekend that, because there was one in the Chooks game, I think Tupou actually scored a second try that was disallowed. Teddy caught it on the inside of the shoulder, right?
Yeah.
And no one was really obstructed. So, like, in rugby union, for example, it's subjective, which I know has its own issues, but it's like, was anyone actually stopped from making a defensive decision or tackle? Yes, no. And it's up to the referee or the video referee. We've seen so many tries get disallowed based on like a black and white rule, which I'm fine with if you fucking stick to the black and white rule. Like, then you see one like that and you're just like, what are you talking about? Like, you've got your rule. You can actually see that he gets held up. Like, the only advantage that is taken there is because of the fact that Cleary gets held up. Like, it's frustrating. I'd rather see him just go, okay, well, we're just going to judge on was someone held up or not.
Yeah. I honestly, like, I understand the ones where the player dives and you can see the player diving, like where they just fall in, like throw their hands. But ones where it's clear contact, just make it black and white. You know, unless it's like in the middle of the field or something like that, I reckon you just make it black and white. But anyway, that aside, in regards to the performance, like, I know towards the end there, he had like a bit of a bad flick pass towards the end, but I thought Alamotti, man, he is fucking looking so dangerous every time he gets the ball. Like, every time he gets the ball, he's poking his nose through, he's making a half line break. He is a fucking handful out there.
Yeah, he was massive for them. I thought their whole back five was massive for them. Like, I'm pretty sure Zayo was the only forward to run. And Lindsay Smith, two guys to run over 100 meters. So, but their back five, they all did. Like, Edwards had 244 meters. Alamotti, as you were just saying, 167. He's just so reliable too, though. Like, you think about the role he's played the last couple of years on different edges, wing, center. So I think it's good to see that he's starting to sort of hold down that center position and make it his own. And, you know, even on that, seeing Tago come on in the back row.
Oh, yeah,
do well.
I love that.
That speaks to depth, a bit like what we were talking about with Walsh before, you know? Like, seeing a guy who's a multiple-time premiership winning centre, and he's having to come on at back row and he's braining it. But that's a credit to Alamotti and McLean and what they've done.
It really sparked the attack. Like I felt like Cleary felt really confident that he could use him, and because he is a little bit smaller as a back row, he's still massive, and he's got so much speed. Like I think that I think they might have like a little bit. I know Sorensen used to come on through the middle at times, but just that player you can bring on and like circuit break the rhythm to a degree. And I felt like when they were really, they had all the ball, all the possession, and they just seemed to be a bit too robotic. As soon as he came on, I thought Cleary really lent into him. So I'm intrigued to see what they do with Tungall, because he's too good of a player to be playing New South Wales Cup. There'll be plenty other clubs that would want him. Could he fight his way to you got Papali'i on one edge. Luke Gardner, I think, started on the other edge.
Yep.
I think you're going to see a lot more teams. If you think back to years ago, you used to see guys like, say, a Fleety Mateo, where there was a lot more attacking upside from your edges. I think the game's gotten quick enough again. Like you saw Sasungi tear up at back row on the weekend, Tago. I think there's going to be a world where a lot of these guys who are more in that mould of a centre, you could just keep them on your 6-man bench. And if you need a point of difference, you just get them some reps at training at back row, where it is just it's a different challenge to handle as opposed to like that big, massive, like a Hamole coming at you. If it's a Tago where he's a bit quicker, like when Edwards put him through, like he was just too mobile and too quick for him.
Yeah. Whereas a big back row, I was probably getting chopped there.
And those guys will still start, and even guys like Hamole, they're not some big just slow person. Like they're very athletic, but I think you will see more teams do that, and we're starting to see that. But yeah, I thought 2 weeks in a row now. We spoke about Origin conversation on Friday. 2 weeks in a row now, you've seen Teddy come out and have an outstanding game, and then Edwards has just responded massively himself, like to set up that try at a pretty key moment. Ran for 244 metres and 10 tackle breaks as well. I think he's playing really well at the moment at the right time.
What do you think about Panthers, mate?
Yeah, they got tested, but they managed to find a way to win. I was pretty impressed with, and I have been impressed with Freddie Lussick coming in. Goes to show the kind of the system that they got there. They haven't really missed too much with Mitch Kenny being out, which, pretty significant injury, losing your hooker there, but he's been really good last couple of weeks.
Yep.
Barely missing any tackles and just, doing what he needs to do, getting those halves the ball. Blaze Lungy, not a bad game as well. I thought he had a little bit of a dip a couple of weeks ago defensively, missed a few tackles, whatever, but since then he's responded quite well. So, mate, they're looking good. A little bit of a scare for them on the weekend. But as you mentioned, I think Manly are a good team. I think we've seen them playing finals footy under Foz.
Yeah, I think that, are they in the form to start the year? I think they lost a little bit of their edge. And sometimes I feel like, Penrith can get stuck in they get stuck in this rhythm where it's very, structured and they kind of just go side to side to a degree. And I felt like there was a period there where they just lost a little bit of that, like the hard unders line that they can run and almost dropping back inside. So it's going to be interesting to see, because I felt like at the start of the year, they'd added quite a lot to their attack. And I feel like at times now, the last couple of weeks, they've kind of fallen back into older habits of very, very predictable's a bit too harsh, but there were times in that game where they looked a little bit out of answers, and they were, and that's why I think the Tungall putting him on the field was a masterstroke by having Cleary, because I felt like that really gave them the energy to kind of spark up again. But I feel like really good win, great win, and I think you're right. Manly are much better than we thought. I do think their edge is dulled a little bit. They're still the best team in the competition by a margin, but I do think they are a little bit down on form compared to where they were.
I think they are too, but I think Blaze is starting to come along quite nicely. Like, obviously, when he was at Para, is he a fullback? Is he a 6? What's going on? He looks comfortable at 6 in terms of finding that balance between being a half and also just being able to run. Like, we saw him score a good running try last night. I think he's starting to find that balance of taking the line on. I think that's going to be important. Like you spoke about, sometimes they find themselves going too laterally, like side to side. Given Yo ball plays a lot, having a half like that who knows how to square him up, that's sort of what Luai was when they were at their best as well. So I think he's going to be a pretty key part for them towards the back end. And last year, there was a massive focus on his defence. He's had a couple of weeks this year where it's been questionable and he's been found out a bit, but I think it's miles better than it was.
Oh, 100%.
It looks way bigger. So.
Yep. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I was just seeing whether Billy Phillips got a run, but yeah, good solid win for Penrith. They weren't at their best, but they just continue to win, and out of even the even the Warriors have had a really poor game. The Penrith Panthers are essentially the only team in the competition that haven't had a really poor game. Like even against the Dogs, like they didn't get fucking towed up. Like it was relatively close until the end. So yeah, they are the epitome of consistent. Nathan Cleary, once again, like he's just a cheat code, really. Like he's so fucking good. Seriously.
$2.50 to win the comp, Penrith.
$2.50. Wow.
I still think that's like
Yeah.
it's all right, eh?
Bit of value?
Yeah, a bit of value. But I also think you spoke before about the master stroke of putting Tago on. Normally the guy who creates that point of difference for him is Cogger through the middle. They lost him during the game. So I think to adjust on the run like that and back your guy in was fantastic.
Yep. So good win for the Penrith Panthers. They trudge on. Clear favourites, clear on top of the table. Penrith Panthers. Now it's time for a bit of Face the Music, brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet. Don't forget, guys, tonight 6 p.m. or maybe it's already come and gone. Make sure to go to bloke.shop, grab your jerseys, $99. Matter of fact, I should probably put that at the start, Matty, the $99 one. So
Yep.
let everyone know at the start. $99 for jerseys. We're not going up in price, guys. So make sure to grab one and support the platform. All right, let's Face the Music, brought to you by Sportsbet.
Tommy, you can represent Roo today in Face the
fantastic.
Music. So first game on Thursday night, Dolphins, $1.51. Host the Canterbury Bulldogs, $2.56. 5.5 points is the line. Dolphins off a good win. Dogs in a world of hurt.
You know what? I'm swinging for the fences here. I'm just going to go Dogs 13+.
6.25.
Dogs 13 plus.
Oh,
For
I'm
Roo?
going to regret that.
Can you put Roo down for Dolphins 1 to 12?
You can. $3.10. Matty?
Dolphins 13 plus.
Yeah, me too. Dolphins 13 plus $2.60. Then we got the Roosters. This is up at Central Coast. $1.16. Winks like. They host the Gold Coast Titans. 5:30. 16.5 is the line on Friday, 6 p.m.
Yeah, just Roosters line.
Yep, Roosters to cover.
I'm just going to go... I'll just go Roosters head-to-head.
Okay. $1.16. That's pathetic stuff.
Roosters line.
Roosters to cover the 16.5. I'm going to go Titans 13 plus $17.
They are.
Not happening. Don't be silly.
Well, we'll see.
The Tigers man all at sea for the line.
No,
Well, let's
hey,
see.
hey,
Big loss.
nothing to do with the
He's
Tigers.
rattled.
Nothing to do with the Tigers. We'll get to the Tigers 13 plus in a minute. North Queensland, they host the Eels. Cowboys $1.39. Eels $3.03. 8.5 is the line up at Townsville on Friday.
Eels 13+.
$7.50.
Can you put Roosters down for the Eels line, please?
I can.
Thank you.
Eels plus 8.5. Yep.
I'll go Cowboys minus 8.5.
Yep. I will go Cowboys minus 8.5 as well. The Dragons off a bye, $3.23. They host the Knights, $1.35. 8.5 is the line. 3 p.m. Saturday.
Knights to cover the line.
Yep.
What's the line?
8.5.
I might just go... Yeah, Knights to cover line.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
I also will go Knights to cover the line. Rabbitohs, $1.64. They host the Sharks, $2.26. 3.5 points is the line. 5:30 Saturday.
Sharks 13+.
5:10.
I just need something. I need something big.
Yeah.
Bunnies 1 to 12.
$3.05.
South 1 to 12.
Yep, 3.05. I'll take the Sharks head to head, $2.26. Manly, $1.81. Favourites host the Broncos, $2.04. 1.5 points is the line in the Kobe Hetherington Cup.
Broncos 13+.
4.40.
Seagulls head to head.
Yep.
Manly head to head.
Yeah, I'll go Manly. Manly 1 to 12, $3.05. Storm, $1.59. Host the West Tigers, $2.36. 5.5 is the line.
Yeah, give me a Tigers line.
Yep.
For your troubles.
Tigers plus, yep.
I'll go Storm head-to-head.
Yep, Storm head to head.
$1.59. Tigers 13 plus, $5.70. Let's go. Raiders $3.62. Host the Panthers, $1.29. The line is 10.5 points in the Nigel Plum Cup.
Can you give me the Raiders line, please, in the Nigel Plum Cup?
Raiders plus, yep, in the Nigel Plum Cup, certainly can.
I'll go Raiders 13+.
Yep, that was in the Nigel Plum Cup. Yep,
I will go.
$9.75.
I'll go Raiders with the line.
Yep, I'll go Raiders.
Just give me something. I need something.
Raiders plus 10.5 for me as well. And then that's it.
That's it.
for round 9 of Face the Music. Don't forget as well about the 50-point curse. Any team to concede 50 points or more and still win the 2026 Grand Final. Some great behemoths of the competition. You've got the Melbourne Storm, the West Tigers. They've already conceded 50 this year. List goes on. So
Man, he's crumbling.
jump
It's
on.
crumbling.
$10 you'll get.
The
Best
Tigers
place
are
to copy that
crumbling.
one.
Is
straight
there
from
is there
feed.
one for the spoon as well? Like to
Yeah,
concede 50
Tigers
points
like
and
to
get the spoon?
Tigers get the spoon. That won't be happening. Yeah, let me
Live
get
odds.
It's
that.
all falling apart. The downward spiral. It
Dollar
begins.
Tigers for the spoon is... Oh, I got to keep scrolling down. 251 to 1. Not even joking. That's what it is. We are
Not
the
even
longest
joking.
odds. We are the equal longest odds to get it.
Okay.
So George $1.25 will take some beating for the spoon.
Ooh, $1.25. That's rough. Fuck. All right, that's us done and dusted. As usual, we'll all go fuck ourselves. Thank you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.